All right. Here, let me give you chat and stuff.
Donka.
Use. And I'll give you a link to the thing as well, considering I know you like to do your little thing.
Well, I've got to advertise to our cash cows, loyal viewers.
Of course. There we are. Good. All right. Well, considering we're always so down to business and we get straight to the point every time, I figured we'd take some time and just talk a bit beforehand.
Are we live? Because
yes.
I've got a good bit planned for this week.
Okay.
And I'm your second host.
Damn it. With the crack of the soda or the energy drink. Yes.
Every single time you've started the stream, like, you start with hello, and like I kept waiting for the hello,
right,
and like my finger was underneath the tab. I'm like, come on, Alejo. And then you're like very low energy, like, all right,
I am, yeah,
and go live, and I'm like, oh, I wasn't expecting Bob Ross.
Well, yeah. Hey, hello, everyone.
Greetingu.
Good evening, good morning to some, and good afternoon to the few.
And good afternoon, good evening, good night. That's a movie reference to a movie. What's his name?
I'm waiting for it.
The Whole Guy's Life is a TV show.
I know
it has Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Truman Show.
There it is. You got there in the end, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. In true TableTalk fashion, we have a bit that's striking while the iron is glacial.
Well, welcome back to TableTalk Discussion and Discourse. I, as always, am your host, Alejo, aka Grade95.
Oh, hold on. Let me crack open a new can.
Oh, no. Don't do it.
Well, my hand has been, like, forced.
There it is.
And I'm your second host. It's ItsSneakyAdolf, aka Aiden. Now I have two Mountain Dew and a G Fuel in front of me.
Boo will be joining us later.
Oh no, this is a lot of sugar.
Yeah, I was gonna say, cool your jets, but really, it's up to you, I guess.
The G Fuel was mostly gone. It was like, I had 10% left.
Okay. Alright.
Well, hold on.
I swear to God, if you pop another can.
Okay.
Oh,
that would have been a good bit.
I would have laughed super hard.
Alright. Put this can in the freezer for now.
Yeah, good idea.
Nice and cool.
Well, couple of things before we even begin. Just cause hanging out, you know, we barely, you know what? We get, as I joked, we get down to business way quick, and we rarely talk about things that are going on in our lives.
Yes.
But you had a thing.
That has been a criticism of ours in the past, that we get to the point too quickly.
Yes. Absolutely it has been.
So, you all may remember last week, I made our co-host Alejo an offer. And I said, you know, I've never seen any Star Trek episodes, but send me a link to your favorite episode of Star Trek, whatever the fuck series, and I shall watch it.
Yes.
And he said it was about robot rights, and it was called The Measure of a Man.
Yes.
And I said, cool. And he sent it to me like a few nights ago. And I said, I'll definitely watch that. And then I didn't. And then I watched it this afternoon.
Yeah.
And I gotta say,
Mm-hmm.
so far, I think I like Riker was his name.
Yep. Okay.
The dialogue,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot less technobabbly than I
Yes.
thought
Mm-hmm.
it would be, and I think with like the snarky asides,
Mm-hmm.
like they're like, oh, the woman that Picard used to know was
Yep.
like, oh, he's not overly sentimental. Trust me, I know.
Yep.
And I'm like, ooh,
Mm-hmm.
like that. There were multiple times throughout the episode where I'm like, this is beautifully written. This has got some good dialogue.
Hell yeah.
And I'm very impressed insofar as that I don't think it'll be something I will add to my watch list,
Sure.
just because sci-fi is kind of meh to me.
Sure.
Shut up! Don't you mention Warhammer?
Wasn't gonna. Also, wasn't gonna mention another thing, but you're good.
Another thing?
No, we'll get there.
Okay.
Go on. It was my thing that I
Oh,
wanted to talk about, but we're keep going. Go on.
okay. So yeah. Overall, rating out of 10, like I'd say 8.5 out of 10.
That is
It's pretty
fair.
good.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It didn't bring anything new to the debate because I've personally been like a fan of the whole topic of Android rights for a while.
Yeah.
So it didn't bring anything new to that debate, which I guess is fine.
I mean, it came out like I don't even remember when that episode came out, but it was a long ass time ago now. So.
Yeah, fair. But yeah, thus far, I can say my experience with the entirety of the Star Trek franchise has thus far been mostly a positive one. I watched like 5 minutes of a bad movie and then kind of stopped paying attention to it.
That's fair.
Versus like 40 minutes of a fairly decent episode.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm aware, from most of the Star Trek fan base who says that Star Trek is mostly bad, except for like the few good episodes. I would say I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead.
Okay. That's fair enough, honestly. Like, yeah, this came out in '89. That episode did. So
Okay.
yeah, so one of those things. But yeah, so I'm glad you liked it. I really enjoy it just because it really shows that the characters very well. And like that's all that I love about TNG is just the fact that it's very, very much full of a lot of characters that I really like.
I kind of died there. I thought I heard you started to say I'm glad you liked it or something. Like you got to the L and liked and then died.
Oh,
and
yeah, no, I said that.
Okay.
Yeah. Glad you liked it. I like the characters in it, and it's good to see that you also recognize the actual writing in it that is very good.
Yes, the dialogue is like chef's kiss. I also adore the fact that the woman is like, I am going to have you be the prosecution.
Yep.
And he's like, I can't be the prosecution to something I don't believe in. And she's like, well, I'll come to a summary decision right now then.
Yep.
If you don't, and if I believe that you aren't like giving your best effort.
Your all, yeah.
And he's like, fine. And like afterward too, he feels guilty because he's like, you were this close to dying.
Yep. But yeah, so
Steely, where's my bourbon?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say hello to everybody. Sorry, I haven't been reading your stuff out. Just been talking about our recent escapades here.
Yeah,
But
all I have is 2 Mountain Dews and a recently finished G Fuel.
I have drank fucking orange dreamsicle rain and a
Ooh.
fucking a coffee earlier, like a something from Starbucks that I got with a friend, and fucking like I'm dying. It's great. Because it's I'm not riding a caffeine high anymore. I'm definitely crashing, but it's all good. So,
I used to like Starbucks, and then they started selling like unicorn vomit in a cup,
oh sure, that's fine.
and
It
I'm
was
like, I I'd, I knew I didn't like it,
mm,
and that I was just being a grumpy old man.
right.
And then they sold Rainbow in a cup
Mm-hmm.
like again,
Mm-hmm.
and then people praised it as different and cutting edge, and I'm like, it's literally just colored
They did
sugar.
it again.
Yeah, you're drinking cotton candy with a
Yeah.
straw,
Yeah.
which admittedly sounds kind of fun. Uh, but now that I've said cotton candy in a straw, you can look forward to that's the new Starbucks drink that they'll come out with in like
Oh,
three
yeah.
months.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I hadn't been to a Starbucks in forever, so I had some what was it? A fucking caramel crunchy thing. I don't know. It was good.
Yeah, that's what I had
Yeah.
when I went to Starbucks.
Like that, I saw caramel and I was like, I like caramel a lot, and so I drank it. Um but this isn't about that. I um wanted to say last week we were talking about games and such as well, and like fucking how I started Dishonored 2
Ooh,
and then stopped playing it, and then what was it, we were talking about how I was gonna ask
pray,
you,
yeah.
yes, how I was gonna ask you if I should play that or Prey first.
Uh-huh.
And since then, I have sunk a lot of time into Prey.
Good man, good man.
Man, is it great.
Yeah, it
Man,
is.
I am so upset at myself for sleeping on that game.
Dude,
Like,
praise good,
like
man.
okay, the minute I started playing it and like got into like the actual sections where you're actually able to influence things, fucking I was like, oh, this is the BioShock game I didn't realize I needed right
Yeah.
now, you know. And like you can obviously see the System Shock and the all that kind of like influences there, BioShock and System Shock. And like I honestly didn't realize it was also made by Arcane Studios,
Mm,
who made Dishonored. Um,
that
fucking
yeah, that's why the play style is literally the same.
yeah.
There's a video I've watched,
Mhm,
and that like I just read the title and I agreed with it.
mhm.
But gonna kind of shout them out.
Okay.
Bricky Orchid 8
Ah, yes.
um made a video called "Graphics Are Temporary, Art Direction is Forever,"
Yes. I would agree with that.
and yeah, and I saw it, I'm like, let me just echo chamber confirm my own opinions. Um, but like he starts talking about how um like BioShock,
Mhm.
like how Rapture is like
Yeah.
so like it stands out so much,
Yeah, it really does.
and how despite having played like Battlefield 3, like
Yeah.
I can't remember a
Excuse
mission
me.
in Battlefield 3, and
Oh,
neither
sure.
can Bricky,
Sure.
but like boy, I can tell you the opening sequence of BioShock 2 when you're
Oh,
in the
yeah.
or not BioShock 2, BioShock 1 when you're in the submersible
Right,
and
when
the
you get into the
splice
pod, yeah.
yeah, and the splicer like rips that dude
Yeah.
apart with her hooks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh
totally.
like fuck, man.
Mhm.
Um or BioShock 2 with the um no, that wasn't BioShock 2. That was BioShock 1 with the Big Daddy and the little girl
Little sister. Yep.
things. Yes, little sister. And the like Big Daddy just fucking that
Oh,
splicer.
murders a splicer right against the glass in front of you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Like, good lord,
Absolutely.
like that 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 Big Daddy war crimes a splicer.
Yeah, it's great.
Um but I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, right,
Our
yes.
direction.
Um, so he starts talking about the art direction of Rapture and how
Yep.
it's so great, and he's like, and then you take Rapture and you make it a space station,
Yep.
and you have Prey.
Yep. That 100%. 100%, dude. Like, I have not felt a dull moment walking around that stationing and having to backtrack. Especially not to mention, of course, that they have enemies come back, right? Spoilers if you haven't played the game, but it's been a while, so but like there are enemies that come back into the places you've already visited before after certain points, and fucking that keeps you on your toes. But also, like, just in general, looking at the environment is just fantastic, man. Like, there's so much going on and there's so much to notice, and like there's so much that you can just find that makes you feel like this is a lived in place, right?
Yes.
Which is the best feeling there.
When I'm going through like any environment in that game, I like stop and I smell the roses to
Yeah.
the fullest extent.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I will read every single piece of paper.
That's what I've been reading all the books and shit. Like, it's like, oh man, it's honestly it's great.
Have you finished the game?
No, not yet. I'm getting there. I don't know where technically I am, but I know like what I'm doing.
Have you gotten to what's it called? The guts, I think.
Yes, I've gotten past guts.
Okay, perfect. Do you remember the lab with all the sticky notes?
Yes, I do. Yes. Every single one that's like, this is not a mimic. This is not a mimic. And I picked up every single one. I made sure to pick up every single one. But like, dude, oh man, it's such good environmental storytelling right there.
The thing that I adore the most is they put sticky notes on every single object. Yeah. And they're like, not a mimic. And the mimic just turns into a sticky note.
Yeah, exactly. It's, oh man, it's super good. Anyway, so high recommendation from me if you've never played Prey. Like, if you were like me and saw the trailer and went, it's probably fine. No, it's fantastic. Actually, oh yeah, holy shit.
I would 10 out of 10 recommend it.
Yeah, like it has rapidly become one of my favorite games.
Mick Gordon actually did the soundtrack.
Mick Gordon
of Doom fame.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
And
that makes a lot of sense, actually.
I didn't know until I downloaded it's called Mind Games. Mm-hmm. It's the closing credits song.
Okay. Gotcha.
I'm like, oh shit, Big Gordon.
Cool. Well, anyway.
I don't know if he did everything.
Probably not everything. Usually they have at least another person. On occasion. It really depends, though. I don't know how Arcane does things.
Google only mentions Mick Gordon.
Well, there you go. Then he probably did most of it, if not all of it. Might have some uncredited musicians as well. But
yes. Well, clearly.
Yes. But, yeah, so fucking Prey's great. Play it if you haven't. It's great. Anyway, TableTalk Con. So we are gonna move on at least to comments in general, but I wanted to just give a little little bit of an update on what we had talked about before because, you know, it's fun to share things. We don't share enough with you guys. Okay, that's not true. Anyway.
Actually, no, we don't share enough with them, and they don't share enough with us
No,
by way of donations.
Stop. Ah. Anyway, let's move on to comments. We only have one comment, and it's from Lux. So, Lex says on the last episode, if you don't want to understand what I'm saying, that makes two of us. In reference to the blonde stuff. I don't know. But yes, Junko Enoshima from Danganronpa, the best person, is the Junko I was referring to. Well, there you go. The second and third ones could be hit or miss, I suppose. I would say the writing quality is still good in terms of character development, but the big reveal for each one might or might not work for you. Won't say it's bad, but risks were taken, and that means there were definitely going to be people who didn't like where they went with it. I don't really think they're as good as the first one either, but that doesn't mean they're bad, and there are other people who think they were better. It just comes down to preferences. I can't think of anything too terribly janky about any of them. Fair enough if that's the case, but it is definitely possible that we could probably put a standard to it and figure out if it is good or not. The fan base did get a little bit too toxic from what I've seen. There are some controversial characters that some people hate to the point of attacking anyone who likes them. Well, that's not cool. And other people who like those characters and overzealously defend them to the point of attacking anyone who doesn't like them. Okay. So you know the same ridiculousness that happens to anytime something is controversial, but that's a fandom problem, not a game problem, or to put it more accurately, it's a humanity problem. So, I'm looking in the PHP for 3.5 right now as I write this. Goods and Services starts on page 126 and ends on page 132. Thank you for the citation. Okay, I see vial, ink, or potion listed as 1/10 of a pound. They actually use fractions, not decimals, unless I'm glossing over something. Every other item in there either uses full integers or half a pound increments. Yeah, I might just be doing decimals in my head when I said that before. So, fair enough. But I suppose that opens the door for items in other books to use 1/10 of a pound for their weights. Honestly, though, I would have regarded 1/10 of a pound as being so negligible that the item might as well be treated as weightless. That's probably how I'll rule it as a DM in the future. The description for the backpack and the sack, however, don't give any actual capacity for space, and while I'm not in the opinion that you should have to go looking through supplements or third-party material to find basic information about an item listed in the PHB, I did, however, look at D&D Beyond to see the capacity listed for those items in 5e, so I guess that's something 5e has going for it. Of course, even knowing the capacity of containers, you would still need to know the bulk of each item to have a definitive rule on how much can fit inside. As it stands, it's still going to take some guesswork. That's not terrible, but it is an area where more information could be useful. True. Yeah, I don't know why I still remember volume being a thing given for some things then. I'd have to find that out for myself. Oh. You were gonna say?
So with the whole like 1/10 of a pound, like it being functionally negligible, that's why you have a library on your back. And yeah, just to avoid such, I don't know, like it's inherently a math equation.
Yes.
So like maybe you can have a total of like 30 bulk on you.
Yeah.
And then like a book, for instance, has a 0.2 bulk.
Right.
And like you can add it up that way. Like unfortunately, the most elegant solution I can think of is to combine various mechanics, have like a bulk mechanic, have a weight mechanic, have this, have that, and then like be like, oh yeah, you can't go over like 30 bulk, you can't go over 150 pounds, you can't go over this, you can't go over that,
Right.
and like I like numbers in my D&D. I do. But even that's getting a bit much for me.
Yeah.
And a bit asinine.
Yeah, exactly. There's no point in it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And if you don't want to use it, then just don't. You know, it's all good. So to pick up on Baby Yoda eating eggs, first I'll state my position. It was bad. I wouldn't say it was the same as Baby Yoda eating people, though. They were fertilized eggs. I'm not sure how developed they were, but they hadn't hatched yet, and I don't recall anything establishing that they had awareness. Still, what Baby Yoda did was take unborn young away from a sapient parent without her knowledge or consent. Even if they're not people yet, they're someone's unborn children. Yeah, that's my take as well, in that respect.
This argument is getting dangerously close to the abortion argument, thus I will abstain.
Though, I also wouldn't say the problem was that nothing happened to Baby Yoda because of it. He's still the equivalent of less than a 2-year-old, so he really wouldn't have been able to understand what he was doing beyond something as food, eat it. The problem is, in that incident being played for laughs, the tone suggested that it was supposed to be cute and wholesome when the thing that happened was actually horrible. It really just shouldn't have been in the script at all. Oh god, yes. Oh, there's so much. Yes, I know. If Baby Yoda had been caught, it would have altered the entire course of the episode if handled correctly. It didn't go that way because nobody knew it happened, but because of that, it didn't really contribute anything other than the bad attempt at comedy to the episode. I believe he later attempts to eat some alien spider eggs, which results in a whole chase sequence, but I think that could have been still been done without the earlier establishing shot of Baby Yoda steals eggs. A pretty irredeemable part of the script regardless. I would say so.
Moral of the story, feed your child.
Yeah. Mando doesn't give a shit, don't worry. D&D Excel spreadsheet sheet edition. It would actually be something that people could actually complain about and say, oh, you require spreadsheets, because it would be made out of one.
Ah, god, yeah.
Yeah. Moving on to character arcs. It's kind of strange to me to apply that term to roleplay. When I think of a character arc, I think of a planned story a character goes through that causes them to develop in some way. I could see an NPC going through one, but a PC's actions are too unbounded for me to really see what they go through as an arc. Really? When I think of a PC, I think of DM engagement and an evolution in how their player plays them. I suppose that if you look back on the campaign as a story of what has happened so far, a PC would have a character arc. But going forward into the future, I only see the DM's ideas of how to engage with that player, and the player's unpredictable response from the DM's perspective to DM engagement. I suppose that's how he was using the term, but I wouldn't think to use it that way. Overall, though, I don't take much issue with that video. Yeah, there wasn't too much of an issue other than him saying you can't predict some stuff, or you can't set things in advance. But interesting that you don't think of it as an arc. I disagree, but that's just semantics at that point. And I don't feel like arguing the semantics with you because we both understand our positions pretty well, I would say.
Fair.
On the second video, I think his point on grammar got lost in the weeds, but what I think he might have been referring to is the principle that in creative writing you need to avoid writing in a formal style. Basically, try to sound like a person casually talking to the reader. The formal style is for academic papers and business proposals where the highest clarity of meaning is needed. In creative writing, you still need to be understood, but the formal style would bore your audience and lose their attention. This is pretty widely understood and non-controversial, but I think he could have made a cleaner argument if he'd phrased it this way. But even with informal writing, the skill you have with still shows, perhaps even more so than with formal writing. There's an art to writing well, and it takes years of practice to develop. Most people would not be able to write well enough in an informal style to be published at their current skill level, even if the actual content of what they were writing was up to par. By that I mean their compositional skill would not be adequate. I should also note that there are circumstances where a writer may choose to use incorrect grammar on purpose, but that's not a case of the writer not caring about it. The writer is choosing to use incorrect grammar specifically because doing so will produce an effect for the audience that the writer wants to create. That could mean a number of things, but the point here is it's intentional and not careless. I agree. That's totally fair. That wasn't what I was talking about, though. I was just talking about somebody who does not give a shit.
Handing something off to someone else and saying, fix it for me.
Yes, that was the point. But I agree with you in that respect. If you use it, like, I've seen it in plenty of books where the person that they're talking to has not had as formal of an education, and so they speak grammatically incorrect. And thus you have a better understanding of where their standing is in society.
Incorrectly.
Yes, incorrectly. Sorry. But you see, there you go. But yes, so that's a thing that is used just so that you can understand that, and it's totally fair. Go on.
So, I had 2 notes and I lost one.
Okay.
But it just struck me how much of a shame it is that we are a channel which like critically reviews like channels, like videos. And like the fact of the matter is I'm forced to take the comments in like our comment section far more seriously than the videos I watch. And that's not just because like it's audience interaction. It's just because it's better put together.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And to be fair as well, no, actually I was going to say to be fair as well, they have plenty of time to write out their comment. But then I think, oh wait, but they had plenty of time to make their video, so you know. I immediately realized my fucking mistake, so I stopped myself.
You nearly fell into the but I don't have
enough time for that. Yeah, video trap that I fucking hate. Yeah.
Also, I picked up my second point again.
Good.
Which is that speaking as someone who has read a fair amount of both formal and informal writing, if you gave Lord of the Rings to me and you phrased it like a college textbook, I would actually, like, I'm in a unique position where I wouldn't care and I would just go, all right, this is the formatting.
Yeah, there are obviously exceptions, as with everything.
Yeah, I'm fully aware I'm the exception rather than the rule.
This fucking guy, exceptional. Jesus. We have a really good community here. I don't know when everyone came on board, but it seems like a response to taking 20 was kind of a key point. I would agree. It was. We've fallen off since then. No, but you know, that was definitely one of the big spikes for us, definitely, because it was just like, I mean, everyone said something. You had to. You just couldn't help yourself.
Yeah, if you were in the industry.
The industry. We're not that fucking professional.
It's like if next week Matt Mercer TPK Critical Role.
Oh, yeah, that would
like
be...
You'd have to mention it.
That's true. You're right. For breaking, quote-unquote, the rules of D&D, I don't really like the troll example he used. In that example, the DM really needed to communicate with the players about his DMing style, and come to an understanding about what was to be expected. The players in that group took the raw as the basis of their expectations about what would happen in the game, and the DM just went against those expectations out of nowhere from their perspective. Whatever your reason is as a DM, if you cause your players to think you're cheating to put them at a disadvantage, you've done something wrong. And if you talk to your group and they tell you that they actually do want you to stick as close to the raw as possible, then it's their prerogative to have that preference. At that point, you need to just make a choice between trying to work with that or just acknowledging that the group in question isn't a good fit for you and moving on. Having the mentality that you're right and they're wrong is not going to lead to a satisfying outcome for anyone. That is a common way for campaigns to die. So overall, I kind of feel like I ended up disagreeing with a lot of what Colville was saying, or at least the way he said it. You don't have to follow rules to the letter in an RPG, but you can if you and your group want to. And I will always believe that it's better to have existing rules you can ignore than missing rules that a DM will have to create. I agree with the last bit, of course. And then, with the stuff beforehand, he was making it more of a point of how he used to act. I don't think that's his position anymore, of course. It doesn't, even self-admitted, he doesn't find that his previous position was a great one. But that's what happens when you grow up and you learn about things. Because I'm pretty sure if you ask Colville right now, he would just say, "Oh yeah, they're like that." He would agree with you, I think. And like I think with the troll example, it was just one of those things of like, our group did this because we were sticklers to the rules, and that was it. We couldn't have any deviation whatsoever. And I'm not that way anymore, but this is what happened, right? It was an example story. But yeah.
In response to your point of like finding a group that like fits for you,
Yeah.
and like no one wants a Principal Skinner. Am I out of touch? No, it is the children
It is
who
the
are
children
wrong.
who are wrong. True. Well, yeah. So that is that. Now, while we are good to go, we're gonna start talking about our topic of today, which is Delta Green. Aiden, tell me everything you know about Delta Green right now.
Okay. It is like Call of Cthulhu.
Okay.
It's a little bit more D&D actiony in that like combat is like possible for your characters instead of being more of a death sentence.
Sure. Okay.
It's a tabletop role-playing game.
Okay. Yeah.
That's all I know.
All right. Well, as the person who really wants to run Delta Green, I have done some reading. I have read the system, and so I would love to regale you on what I at least remember from when I read it. Before we get into the video, which I assume we're only going to do the one video, and then we might do something after that might be a little fun. We shall see. But the system of Delta Green is, yes, very much like Call of Cthulhu. It is, in fact, based in Call of Cthulhu in the world, because Delta Green was created to by the government because of Innsmouth. The story of the Shadow over Innsmouth happens, right? Excuse me. And the government cordons that place off, and they learn about some shit, and then they're like, oh, right? And so Delta Green is created in order to start combating that kind of stuff on a governmental level. And so, they're definitely a more secret organization. They recruit people from other organizations in the government or other people in the world to be their operatives, most of the time not knowing that they're a part of Delta Green until they've really been inducted after their first mission, right? As far as what I gathered. So sort of like Cthulhu XCOM, in a way, yes.
So the STC organization? No. SCP.
SCP, yes. Very
Sorry,
much more SCP, yes.
Yeah, mixing my Warhammer and
It's totally fair.
SCP.
Yes. Basically, you are an operative of Delta Green. Now, whether or not you know that is entirely up to your handler, who is the game master of Delta Green. Whether or not your orders are just you get orders from your, let's say you're part of the FBI. Your fucking boss tells you to go be part of this task force, this special team, because all the paperwork is there, and now you're in this mission. And now you've been sent off to who knows where in the U.S., usually just the U.S., and they're like, hey, man, go figure out what the fuck's happened. And you go, okay, and then you get your mind shattered, and maybe you live. Who knows? But you might stop whatever it is from being summoned, or at least prevent it from coming another day. And then...
Delta Green must save a killing on pensions and retirement funds. If most of their operatives die, every single dead operative is a pension you don't have to pay.
That's true. What I really middle of nowhere, no doubt. Yeah, sometimes. Well, that's the thing. Sometimes it can be somewhere else. Because this is the thing. In Delta Green, most of the time you're an operative of some government agency, whether it be the FBI, why can't I think of other terms? DEA,
CIA.
Yep, CIA, fucking literally any agency. You could be recruited from it if you're an exceptional person, or if they think that you will help in whatever mission it is that they need to be investigated. Right? And it gives you a little bit of leeway and sway in the world, more than Call of Cthulhu might allow you to, because you could flash your badge. Though, there is, of course, paperwork involved. You do need to requisition some things at some times, and you do it through the proper channels, or you find a way to steal it, whatever, who cares. But... you can actually go to the government agency and try to requisition things, right? Now, whether or not you actually tell them anything insane where they go, you should stop being a part of the force, that's up to you. But you probably don't want to do that. And you probably don't know about that stuff just yet. But it's just an ongoing kind of thing of the government trying to cover this shit up. And I mean cover this shit up. Most of the time, this stuff gets paved the fuck over and no one knows. Just like how it happens usually in Call of Cthulhu, but you're the agents that were responsible for that being covered up. There's also an interesting thing of Delta Green is split into two different Delta Greens, at least in their lore. Where one thinks that they both think that they're doing it the right way. One is more of a shadow organization, like to an even stronger degree, where they get funding and stuff by pretending they're the original Delta Green. And the other one is Delta Green still, that is known more so, and is like, it's very odd. And it's hard for me to explain to fully, because I'm not sure I entirely understand it. But there are two Delta Greens, and whether or not you're a part of the right one is completely irrelevant. It's just they're doing the same thing in different ways.
It's left Twix and right Twix.
Yes, exactly. Okay, now okay, wait a minute. You just brought up something that I need to say now. Why did they split them? What the fuck? It's so stupid. God.
Alejo, I'm gonna let you in on something.
Marketing, I know.
They did it for marketing.
Yeah, marketing and money, but it's stupid, and I don't know why people fell for it. I bought a bag of Twix, like, the other day, and I'm upset every day. Okay. Yes, I eat 2 at a time. Fuck you.
Shove them both in my mouth. I eat them holistically.
Yes. Now I'm imagining some speakeasy that is some old god cult selling booze made out of crazy juice or something that is causing crazy stuff happening in town. Already getting game ideas. Hell yeah, dude.
No, I don't eat 2 Twix at a time because I'm a fat ass. I do it so it's balanced.
So it's balanced.
So it's symmetrical.
Perfectly balanced as all things should be. Where's my pension check? We already sent it. No, you didn't. We did. Oh dear. Are you having memory loss again? Later.
Yeah.
You really having memory loss? What? No, we don't have pensions.
It must be those memory ab what is that SCP?
Oh, amnestics.
Amnestics, yes.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing though. You can have this take place even in present day. And in fact, Delta Green usually is set in present day. With the organizations being, as they are in present day, and so you're able to have that technology. And let me tell you, as far as I'm aware, even though you are a trained special agent, it does not take away from the fact that things do not die from one hit usually. Hey.
Whoa.
How's it going?
Ooh, tell us what you know of Delta Green.
Yeah, tell me everything you know. Right now.
Well, this is our third host, Prince Boo.
Yes.
AKA Boo.
Yes.
Well, I know that Delta Green is it is a Cthulhuoid Lovecraftian investigative game where it is centered less around shitty, cowardly, worthless investigators,
right?
And more along the lines of like Men in Black, effectively.
Yes,
it's like that.
Very much so.
Where you're government agents, and in fact, the DM is actually referred to as the Handler, which is pretty fucking cool. And yeah.
All right. Basically the way that Aiden ended that. Hell yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I've just been talking about it a little bit because we're gonna talk about it today.
I take it we're still about
we haven't even started the
25%.
video.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say 25% of the comments, but
no. Oh no, don't worry. There was only one, and no, most of it was us talking about what we did the other day, basically.
Okay,
just with our lives.
What did you do?
I was talking about playing Prey.
Oh, nice. Yep.
And I watched Star Trek.
Yeah. Crazy.
Our roles are reversed for this week.
For this week only. But yeah, so yeah, that's the other thing about fuck off. About fucking Delta Green is that it very much can take place in present day and is more often than not taking place in present day with the adventures and such. And it's not hard to balance it in such a way because even the most grizzled man in the FBI or whatever is still subject to seeing something from outside of their dimension that is ripping people apart without them even like moving.
Yes.
It's great. I love it. And I will say, what'd you say?
Oh, no. I was just saying Shoggoths.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I will say as well, I did actually run a small game with a few other people. Not these two yet, because I wanted to test it out before I drop these boys in at some point, whenever we get to it. But yeah, I did it, and it's very simple to do. It is basically just Call of Cthulhu, but just a little different. It's great. It's fantastic because it feels very feels very natural at getting people to work as a team because you're kind of forced to.
Mhm.
And also, you have that shared trauma, which is great. Always good.
Shared trauma?
In the sense of, like, you're going through a very traumatic experience together.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if that was an actual mechanic.
No. But I'll have some other things to talk about what I would do with it later, once we learn more about it with the video. So, eating one Twix at a time shatters the fabric of reality and summons unspeakable things. That is true. I'd imagine that when it comes to gear, I'd make it that anything you can get by general hardware store is on hand for the investigators. I'm sure the Shadow organization can afford that much. Oh yeah. There's
absolutely.
There's a mechanic, I think, in both Call of Cthulhu and Delta Green. Oh, go on.
Left Delta Green can afford that.
Right.
Delta Green
exactly.
Yeah.
But there is a mechanic in both what I believe is in Call of Cthulhu and in Delta Green where you can quote unquote argue that you would have a certain item and roll, I think, a luck roll.
Yeah, pretty much.
In order to see if you brought it with you.
So it's like, if you buy a camera and you forgot to buy film, you could be like, would I have this film? And then the DM would most likely either just flat out say yes, or in case you're in a situation where you might have actually forgotten to bring it, roll a luck roll just to see if you have it.
Exactly. So it promotes a lot more just pure narrative storytelling, I would say. There's a lot, even though it has that combative element as well. Again, even in Call of Cthulhu, even just like in Call of Cthulhu, even though you're an FBI man, you will die after getting sliced up by a man. So, you want to avoid that kind of shit, but it also just allows you to kind of just have that moment of like, oh, we're at a point where I don't know what to do. Oh, I'm going to call for an idea roll, right? And then and then, hey, guess what? I don't actually remember if idea is one of the stats in Delta Green, but I assume in some fashion it is there.
I believe idea is always taken from intelligence.
Yeah, okay.
I believe so.
So I think that's also there, but it can also go like, oh, and we can jog your memory a little bit just to make sure that you're not always like floundering forever.
Yes, exactly. That's the whole point of the idea roll, where if the investigation is stalled and you have no leads at all, you ask for an idea roll, and then the DM will either allow it or not. And the thing that's nice about the idea roll, and what I actually fucked up the first time we played Call of Cthulhu, was if you ask for an idea roll, you can't fail, but if you do fail, there are negative consequences.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, so the investigation will always get back on track. It's just you might, have a bad time.
Yeah, it might be a worse idea than had you gotten a good idea. So we'll get into the watch together, and we will watch this 32-minute video.
Oh my god, okay.
This is probably not going to be too heavy in the pausing, but this is from... we covered him once before, and I can't pull up the thing on Watch Together because it doesn't let me anymore for some reason, but I can pull it up in another window really quick so I can figure out what the fuck their channel name was. Deathstroke 9. That's right.
Yeah,
we covered, it was during the spooky month.
Probably another. Then it would have been Call of Cthulhu.
It was definitely Call of Cthulhu related. Yes.
Yeah.
So let us begin. As soon as I do some things here. There we go. Here we are.
Welcome, agents, to your debriefing on the enigma known as
Delta
Green,
I remember him.
the role-playing game. This is Deathstroke 9, and I will be your host and guide you through how you can get into Delta Green. Be forewarned, though, this information is not for the light of heart. To start off, Delta Green is a Lovecraftian horror role-playing game of conspiracies and intrigue. It is a game where players take on the role of agents for working for a secret sect of the government known as Delta Green, and one player takes on the role of the Handler, which is the storyteller. Like any tabletop role-playing game, Delta Green is a collaborative storytelling experience, which includes rolling dice to simulate different things that, the players might try to do. For example, if you try to do anything difficult like kick down a door or decipher an ancient text, you have to roll for it. Now, before we get any further, I would like to implore you, if you want to learn more of the ancient truths that make up humanity, and also get lots of cool role-playing game content, subscribe to this channel and like this video if you enjoy it. This is Deathstroke9, bleed out the subscribe button, and let's dive right in to Delta.
Wait a minute, did he just say bleed out the subscribe button?
Yeah, he that's his thing. Because it goes from red to gray.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I haven't subscribed to anybody in a long time. That's
fair.
To the button.
That's fair.
That's cool.
It's a little clever. I like it.
Yeah, no, I like it too. I just didn't know that.
Or get any of your friends into this awesome, wonderful role-playing game, which is rapidly becoming one of my personal favorite horror games. What is Delta Green? Delta Green is a horror role-playing game. A role-playing game is a game where players take on the role of something that they aren't, such as
are we going this
a
basic?
secret agent.
Yeah.
Similar to something like the
so.
X-Files or Men in Black,
Shake that
but only with
button.
much darker twists. Delta Green is a game where players take on the role of agents within a secret sect of the US government called Delta Green, which was formed from the raid on Innsmouth, which is a part of a Lovecraftian short story called Shadow over Innsmouth. In that story, it ends with the protagonist calling in the government to attack and destroy a Deep One infested landmass. From this, Delta Green was born. Now, Delta Green was originally created for Call of Cthulhu as like an expansion or an extra book to the actual Call of Cthulhu system, which is another one that I go over a lot on this channel.
I didn't know
But in recent years,
Let me just read my
they
script.
have recreated Delta Green in a second edition, which is its own standalone system. If you follow my advice given in this video, you will not need any other books other than the ones that I show you to start getting into role-playing in Delta Green.
What I'll say is, having read both the two books, the Agent's Handbook and the Handler's Guide or whatever it is, you only need the Agent's Handbook. That's it.
So it's similar to like D&D in that respect.
In that respect, yeah, you just need your quote unquote player's handbook. It
that
tells
comes
you
with all like the monster stats and stuff in it.
I don't actually remember that. It might not, but I think I don't know if the handler one does that either. Let me actually check, because I do have
I suppose.
a couple of things here at the ready for myself that I can look at to make myself look smarter than I really am.
Naturally.
Okay, so what the handler's guide does give you is a lot of like things, and by that I mean literal monsters to look at. It really is just like, it has a lot of history in it too, in the sense of like what happened to make Delta Green the way that it is in present day, quote unquote present day, because I think this goes to 2010 maybe. But it also has, okay, here we go. Yeah, it does have stats for some monsters in it too. So maybe I would say then, if you don't want to create your own monsters, and you want to look at those examples to create monsters from as well, you would also probably want that. But that's about it.
That's kind of what I assumed that it would have as well.
Yeah, I had forgotten, so thank you for pointing that out. That's curious. What happened to all the Deep One villagers? Did they all die or get displaced or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. They were either
No,
killed or they fled into the sea, I believe.
There we go.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah.
I wasn't gonna like no further than just yes.
Yeah,
Because the thing
Hey.
is, we don't know.
true.
The story is actually, if you read The Shadow over Innsmouth,
It does
it's
just
left at
end.
that.
Yeah,
That's a
it ends
cliffhanger.
there.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is true.
Yeah.
But they probably had a wondrous little effect called 1940s racism.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You can also probably see it in Delta Green's the handler's guide. It probably also has like what happened, or at least what it tells you happened. But yeah.
Green is a game that needs mood. You need a good story who can keep their pacing, right? It's a horror game. Like most horror games, just like Call of Cthulhu, you're trying to use fear of the unknown and fear of the end to push the story. So, how this game works is the game master, who is known as the handler, creates a story. The players are going to go through this scenario, this situation that he has put their created agents in. The game master, also known as the handler, will then take each of the players' characters that they have created, which are known as agents, through the scenario. The agents will make split-second life or death decisions, and
Sometimes.
the handler will integrate these decisions into the storyline and allow the player's actions to tell the story. Delta Green is an extremely dark game filled with mysterious secrets and eldritch occultic lore built into it, with some stuff about drugs and some more sensitive topics in the actual books themselves. Although, as I've said before, any role-playing game is basically as bad as the people playing it and what type of story they decide to tell. But still, viewer discretion is advised.
Vampire is probably the worst that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, but I get what he means, you know? Like, it's whatever you include.
Yes, exactly.
I will also say, just a small note, man, those pictures have nothing to do with what you're talking about.
Yeah, I guess
like,
he's just trying to set the mood. Dude.
I know he's trying to just show off little assets of art for establishing it, but I'm sure that you could find ones that kind of go a little bit better with what you're doing. What you're talking about.
Why are you stifling his creativity?
Because he could be creatively better.
Oh my god.
I know. Seems like whenever the military steps up, the supernatural threats do get smashed, with some losses, obviously. See, yeah, it's not that they got smashed, it's that they got covered up. That's the thing. That's what happens, like I said before, that's what Delta Green is about. It is trying to eradicate the threat, and if they can't eradicate the threat, they cover that shit up. And even if they eradicate that threat, they cover that shit up. And even if they don't eradicate, it's just a big cover up.
Yeah. Because the thing is, in Lovecraft stories, almost every single main character in those stories is alone.
Yes.
And that's part of the reason why they are scary, is because they're alone. But once you have, a deep one to, one or two or even three people is pretty fucking dangerous. But when you have, a military unit coming in there with, fully geared up, ready for war, that deep one's fucked.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And then they retreat into the water, and they can never be exterminated fully. Aha! Yes. I mean, in Innsmouth, I believe the Navy shoots a missile into the local reef to super cover it all up.
Yes, a torpedo.
Yeah. But cover up does not mean destroy.
Exactly.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You swept the shit underneath the rug, and now the rug smells bad.
Yeah, that's right.
You need to get a new rug. Except the rug in this case is the earth.
Yeah, get a new earth, idiot. Come on.
Delta are 13 and up. That's not to say that those younger couldn't play it, but I would suggest having someone else water it down for them. Let's go over the setting. What time period is this game set in? So when you think of this type of gameplay, it is a intrigue-based game where players are agents from a government organization sneaking around trying to find different secrets, and it slowly builds in tension. until you make it to this moment of horror. The world is a scary place, and the agents slowly understand that.
That's true.
The way Delta Green works is each player is recruited, normally after they've seen something unnatural.
Yeah.
What is Delta Green? Well, you ask any two Delta Green agents what Delta Green actually is, and you might get two very different answers. There are lots of different scenario hooks for handlers trying to integrate what Delta Green truly is into their scenarios. Because of that, there's a lot of spoiler-heavy material about what Delta Green is that I'm not really going to bring up here, or at least not too much of it. But let's just say Delta Green at its core is a government organization that is like a secret conspiracy working within the government. It was formed in the 1920s when a group of people raided and attacked the city, location of...
I have one issue so far.
Mhm.
He's repeating himself way too much.
Yeah.
This is the third time he's gone over this.
Yeah. It's a little much, but hopefully we get past that kind of stuff.
Like, apologies, but man,
Mm-hmm.
you only got to say it once.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Innsmouth. Now, Innsmouth was home to a bunch of deep ones, which are Lovecraftian fish monsters. And when they discovered that these creatures are real, they created this sect of the government which was dedicated to finding and destroying these threats. In Delta Green, knowledge is not power. Knowledge means death. Because the human brain cannot comprehend things of such intense horror, such as what agents are constantly discovering every day. And soon you either learn to kind of block, try to stop everything, burn the books, so to speak, or you slowly go insane. It is often the goal of any Delta Green mission is to destroy any trace of the otherworldly infestation. Mm-hmm. And also at the same time you're trying to cover up your tracks, because no one can ever know that Delta Green exists. You see, the world itself in Delta Green is a scary place.
Okay.
And Delta Green tries to conceal this. Keep this veneer of false security over everything, so that civilians are not unduly worried. Because they have discovered things that make you realize that the end is near. And the only question is, how much of the end are you going to see? You quickly learn to either keep your mouth shut, or you, the agent, becomes the mission. So Delta Green, the way it works is, as you know, it is a horror game, okay? It's meant to be scary. So one thing about most horror games, and you and your players should learn this, or you and your game group needs to understand this, is that a horror game is meant to be moody, scary, have a certain tone, have a certain atmosphere.
Okay, so first, yes, there is a certain atmosphere that you want. It's not necessarily always prevalent.
Yes.
The world is full of both scary shit and cool shit, right? And also absolutely silly shit, right? Like, there's a lot of facets here, and your players may not always be super like in that horror mindset all the time, and that's totally fair. You can't maintain that all the time. You know, it is not something that you can always go, everyone will be scared all the time, because there's no release of that in that case, right?
Yeah.
You need, we've talked about it before, you need to have that bit of brevity, or sorry, not brevity, levity, in your game in order to make it so that the bad shit stands out.
Yes.
Just as much as the good shit. You know? And also, I want to say before, he was saying something about how the agents are sneaking around to do their thing, and I'm like, so, sometimes, sure, but a lot of the time, if you flash your badge to a civilian, man, they're gonna just say, hey, you're a FBI man, I'll comply, you know? They don't necessarily have to, like, investigators in Call of Cthulhu have to sneak around most of the time, I would say. Because they have to do things against the law, Whereas
most times.
Whereas a person who is quite literally part of the FBI can make the law in their scenario, unless they're encountering another agent who doesn't know that they're a part of that thing, in which case they have to figure out a different way around it. Yeah, I don't know. I just have but it is a horror. But is it a horror game? Good question, Slay.
Yeah, no idea.
You know what? Maybe we'll find out by the end.
Yeah, maybe I hope he repeats himself again.
I honestly,
it hasn't really gotten in there yet.
No. I mean, it seems to always be nearing but never happening. The end times seem to be pushing their goalposts back. No, that's the thing. We're pushing the goalposts back.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. We don't want it to come, so we go, no, stop.
Yeah.
Gonna
need you to stand over there now.
Yeah, thanks. Could you? Thank you. Then again, flashing your badge also draws attention from the cultist baddies. It can, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're
Oh yeah.
That's the thing. What I really like about it is that you have this power in the normal world, right? But that power can backfire in this occult world of these people who are underground. Just as it would be for any criminal organization, it's as powerful as the people that give it the power. So the people, the general populace...
Oh, no, go on, finish your point.
Okay.
I have 3 points.
Sure. The general populace is going to most likely submit to your authority because you are that authority, but just as a criminal would want to buck against that, then the cultists would see that and start to either make an effort to be as concealing as possible or try to take you out or something. It's just it is a double-edged sword in a lot of scenarios, depending on if you have a human element that you have to deal with. But if you have to deal with something that is an alien element, what the fuck does your badge mean?
Nothing.
It literally nothing. Anyway, go on.
So with in response to the flashing your badge draws attention from the cultists, I have something similar in one of my campaigns where the party was basically like freely talking about a murder that had happened and some cultists that they suspect are maybe in the area, and we're like freely talking about it in the tavern, talking in the guardhouse basically about that, and the guard just kind of looked at them and was like, "Are you guys looking for trouble?" Or no, sorry, it wasn't the guard. It was the guy who owned a hotel.
Okay.
He's like, "Are you guys like looking for trouble?" And they were like, "No, just kind of seems to find us." And he's like, "Yeah, that's probably because you talk about it in the middle of a restaurant." I'm the owner of a hotel. I could be a cultist. And they were like, "Oh, right." He's like, "Yeah, be careful who you mention this stuff to." Like, if you're looking for trouble, like, by all means, but be aware.
Yeah, exactly.
And in reference to the whole like shifting of the goalposts, humanity always being like, could you not? There in the other campaign I'm a part of, there was literally a god of chaos, who got banished because none of the other gods like him really well because chaos kind of fucks with all of their domains. Except for Lathander. But he started like pushing his way through, and he happened to get what's it called when like a god like possesses someone?
Possession.
Yeah.
An aspect.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was just you. Okay, I didn't realize that was them possessing you.
An aspect is a fragment of their power personified.
Right.
But it can take, like, possession can lead to someone becoming an aspect.
Didn't know that. Okay, cool.
So for instance, Supernatural, where Lucifer possesses a dude, and then that dude, for all intents and purposes, becomes Lucifer.
Spoilers.
Anyway,
don't worry, that thing ended with such a really shitty ending that everybody hates
to
it.
talk to an aspect of this chaos god, and just for shits and giggles, the chaos god was like, basically challenged us to like one-on-one combat, and was like, I'm going to kill your world anyway, but the time like isn't ripe. So only one person has to die here. And I wasn't at this session, but more or less the god had like conditions where if like the god won, then the party let them through. If the party won, the god was like, "What do you want?" And the leader of the party was like, "Go home." And happened to roll like a 33 persuasion check. And he's like, you know, what would be more chaotic than me like starting to return to the world and then just not?
I see.
And he's like, you know, fine, you know what? If you win, I'll actually do that, because that does sound pretty chaotic to me.
Nice.
And as for the third note, I happen to be a huge Destiny 2 fan.
Okay.
And the storyline that they're going for with like the newest season and the next expansion that comes out has honestly been one of the most Lovecraftian things for me.
Oh, cool.
Because the main villain, her name is Savathun, or Savathun, depending. Most people say Savathun.
Sure.
But she actually has a song that she hums.
Okay.
And the song itself is viral, meaning that if you hear it, you start to hum it, and then other people around you hear you humming it, and they start to hum it. And people that have been humming the song sufficiently long enough, like, she starts to get a bit of control over them.
Oh, cool.
And it's really cool to me, because we've seen like so many like, oh, the opposition of like the bad guys, yada yada yada. But literally, we've not seen anything where it's like, yeah, no, it's a song.
Right, yeah.
How do you fight a song?
Yeah, how are you supposed to deal with that? You can't shoot a song.
Exactly.
You have to shoot the one who's singing the song.
Yeah,
Idiot.
except two of the people who are currently humming the song are like the leaders of the Guardians in the tower.
Oh.
One of which is sort of like the de facto head of the operation and is like the leader of the Titans, and the other of which is also a Titan. He's a very, very Russian man.
Oh. Well, it's time to start ripping out vocal cords, I guess.
Yeah, time to Metal Gear Solid 5 this.
Yeah. Okay. I think that the government agent scenario creates a new avenue for creativity, because they will need to come up with explanations to civilians and also try to get civilians into safety, even while not being able to tell them why. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Hey peeps, what's Delta Green? Thought I saw Cthulhu? Yes.
Yes.
It is a branching off of the Call of Cthulhu. Quite literally, it originated as such and is now its own thing, but is still very much based on that.
And it's in the world of Cthulhu as well.
Yes.
Let your players know, or let the other members of your game group know, that Delta Green is similar to like Call of Cthulhu in that it's a bit of a disempowerment game. You're not super powerful, and knowledge could kill you.
Sure.
Everything just gets, the tension rises as everything just goes down. All hell breaks loose, and all manner of unspeakable, disgusting, horrifying creatures start to attack. Or you find out that, other humans are really aliens themselves. Or you go into these pocket dimensions, which ruin your investigator's mind, right? Your agents are going to be uncovering the uncanny, the unnatural, and really having themselves be messed up in the process. Death is it's extremely easy to die in Delta Green. Similar to like Call of Cthulhu, as I said, Delta Green was originally a derivative of Call of Cthulhu before it was rebranded as its own specific game. Now, Delta Green is a Lovecraftian horror game, specifically, and that means lore on like the mythos. Now, do you know what the Cthulhu mythos is? That is basically this man named H.P. Lovecraft, along with a bunch of other influential horror writers at the time,
Hated minorities.
What was known as the Lovecraft Circle. They were,
And that's all we know.
And that's all you need to know about the mythos.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
the small group that made a bunch of
If you're
stories
Evil Hat
that all
Productions,
revolved
that's
around
the end of
That's
the
all you
story.
know, yeah.
mythos, which was invented by Howard Phillips Lovecraft. Lovecraft created this world, and it includes creatures of unfathomable darkness from science fiction. He takes science fiction and merged it with horror, and was one of the first to do so. He separated horror from simply being devils and demons, and brought in otherworldly creatures, and created a genre known as cosmic horror. And everyone, all of his proteges, or the people who were working with him at the time, or the people who made up the Lovecraft Circle, contributed to this mythos.
Right,
Some of
man,
it
you're
contradicts
mixing us a
itself.
little-
All of it is horrifying, terrifying,
wild there.
mysterious. Some of it's even wondrous, but it's all weird and alien.
it's gone.
And everything about it is opening up strange vistas to the mind, which should not have been opened. Do not call up that which you cannot put down. For example, one huge thing is Cthulhu, right? Cthulhu himself is a giant octopus tentacled creature. That is an idea of what type of horrors your agents might be facing. But another thing to keep in mind is that you're also going to be facing choices of morality. Delta Green expects its agents to hold true to their code, which is that they need to sacrifice everything. And as the game goes on, more and more and more will be sacrificed. More and more will be cut off from your investigator, from your agent. They have to lie to their spouse, to their kids.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say.
They have to take leave from their workplace and have to lie to them as well.
What I like a lot is they definitely give you in the agent handbook, they're like, hey, so you're gonna go on missions, right? Your social life is gonna fucking suffer.
Your
Like,
life.
your life in general, right, is gonna suffer. Like everything, every normal facet that you have is going to suffer because you've seen some shit, and you kind of are gonna be away for a long time, maybe for multiple months, with maybe a month in between for you to see your wife. Guess what, though? Your wife's getting a little fed up, and hey, your wife might just leave you. Ha ha! It's
Sucks to be you.
Yeah, you got to go back to work.
Yeah.
like you have these relationships that you can have as your rocks, right? But it matters what you put your downtime into, quote unquote, right? Of like, are you gonna like try to be with your family as much as possible? Are you gonna completely isolate yourself from your friends that way? Like, are you gonna lose these friendships that you've made for forever? And like, also, hey, you know that cool job that you have at the FBI? Man, they don't see you very often anymore. They're not too happy about that. You know, like it has everything kind of always in a downward spiral, but you're always doing something that's worth that in a way.
Yeah.
But is it worth it?
Yeah, worth it from a planetary scale.
Yes, exactly.
Not necessarily a personal
Exactly,
scale.
which is the best part as well. How much are you willing to take? Right? Are you going to start ignoring the call? Is this enough? Is it more than, like, do you think that this is more than yourself? Or are you going to be selfish and actually, like, say, no, I don't want to be a part of this anymore, and know what you know, and risk the fact that now Delta Green knows that you know, and you don't want to do anything about it anymore?
Because now, if anybody ever finds out what you know, now you are on the hit list.
You're a risk. Yeah.
You're loose end.
Yes, absolutely. You are a risk at that point. There's a lot of facets that you can go through. And then, like, I can imagine it becoming, like, a group of agents who then defect in a way of, like, they try to just go. And then, like, because they know this shit, like, oh man, I'm starting to think of this just a whole story of, like, they know this shit, so they start saying, no, I don't want to do this anymore, and then they go on the run from Delta Green and the government at large into other countries, and then they find other shit in other countries that they're like, oh god, right?
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere, but it keeps coming up, and they can't go back home. And then it's like, do you deal with it here, or do you keep running? What do you do, you know? I can see that being just such a big... Because you're beholden to this organization now. And even though you have this organization behind you, quote unquote, is it really that... Right. Is it really that much of a benefit?
Yeah.
There's so many cool things about that.
They run from Delta Green, and instead they run into a Delta Vert in France.
I mean, yeah, right? Like, it, like Steely said before, it gives a lot more avenues of creativity for this kind of scenario of, now it is a governmental, like, government-wide thing that makes it so a country can go against you, right?
Exactly.
And, like, that's not something you can necessarily do as easily with investigators in Call of Cthulhu, because you don't necessarily have an agency behind you. You don't necessarily have a group behind you that knows that you know this stuff. I mean, you could,
unless you do.
Yeah, exactly. You could, absolutely, and so you could do that. But with Delta Green, it is almost assured.
Yeah,
every
it's hard
time.
baked in.
Yeah. Interesting thoughts.
Dude,
Adolf has to
I just want to run a Delta Green campaign in, like, Vietnam and have it be like MASH.
Yeah. Oh,
no,
yeah. Okay.
Nice.
But, like, have it be like sort of villain of the week-esque.
Yeah. Totally.
Lie to the government to keep itself secret. They have to hold everything back. They cannot let anyone ever know who does not need to. All information's on a need-to-know basis. And moral dilemmas come in a lot of different ways in this game. One huge example, I'm going to show you an image, which is on the back of the Delta Green core handbook. Okay? This is this image. Now, right here you see a man pointing a gun at another man.
Nice.
The other man has something all over his face. Now, this is a perfect example of the types of horrors which might become even worse than the main horror of these eldritch creatures, is that you find out that your best friend who you've grown up with, and you guys were both recruited into Delta Green, you've gone on this mission into this house that was infested with this fungus. And he breathed it in.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't mean to. It was an accident. Something went wrong, and his mind has been taken host by this creature.
Gotta
or this
put him down.
spore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
However, his true consciousness keeps coming forward as well. So it's almost a battle in his mind. But you know it's only a matter of time before he becomes more than just a threat to you, but also a threat to humanity because he could spread this spore.
And to himself.
Yeah.
And you have to make a choice. And you take your gun in hand and you aim it at your best friend when he's at his lowest point. And then suddenly you see true personality come through one last time.
Mm-hmm. He's begging you
You
not
have to make
do
a
it.
choice.
Yep.
Are you going to shoot him or not? And these types of moral dilemmas can make up a great deal of the horror of this game.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's fucking
Again,
sick.
Delta Green is not for the faint of heart. So what do you need to play Delta Green? Well, it's
I'd
actually
like to see,
pretty
the
simple. There's not a
recommendations here.
ton.
So I do want to say, Slay says some of the Vietnam vet stories I've seen on YouTube about like tunnel divers is creepy as heck. Yeah,
Yeah.
tunnel divers. Oh man.
Or being a sapper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Man, real life sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time to mimic it in fantasy.
Yeah.
That anyone needs to play Delta Green. In fact, you can play Delta Green with nothing at all. You don't have to spend 1 cent to play this incredible game. All you have to do is go to the link in the description. There is going to be a lot of links in the description, but there's one that is the quick start for Delta Green. So all you would need, and technically you don't even need this, you could find different apps for this to do this for free. But technically you would need some dice, some paper, some pen and paper, and this free PDF, which is the Quick Start Delta Green book. I believe it comes with a scenario and all the rules you need to begin your journey.
Sure.
Once you have completed that, gotten through that material, you can move on to the meat of what Delta Green is, which comes in 2 main books. The first of which is called the Agent's Handbook. Now, the Agent's Handbook is really all you would ever need. You could play Delta Green indefinitely with just the Agent's Handbook.
Yeah.
It is
true.
split up into different chapters, which each tell you different things about how to play the game, what type of game it is, how to create agents, how to create characters, all different types of stuff on equipment,
agents.
Vehicles, money.
Oh, it would be actually, yeah.
Yeah, it is actually. You can have it.
Sanity.
Yeah, so it would be
which
like NPCs.
Plays a very big role in this game as your character's mental health breaks down, or as you, as the handler, are breaking down the character's mental health. They lose sanity points, and they slowly grow more and more conflicted in their ideologies as they make it to this breaking point. All types of very cool, important stuff within the pages of the Delta Green Agent's Handbook. On the back it says, in Delta Green, the role-playing game, you are one of the agents. You fight to keep terrors from beyond space and time, from infecting the world and claiming human lives and sanity. The Agent's Handbook is a player's rulebook for Delta Green, the role-playing game. This incarnation of the legendary Delta Green game line includes rules for creating agents of all types, rules for tense, fluid investigations. Players who use their agent's skills in clever ways have the best chance to succeed and survive. Nerve-wracking rules for combat, where random disasters can undo the most careful planning. Mind-melting sanity rules that can see agents gradually deteriorate and sometimes snap. Quick, intuitive rules to determine equipment and assets, and dossiers on the federal agencies most likely to be featured in play. Future terrors can be found in this book's companion volume, which is the Handler's Guide. Now, the Handler's Guide is more of a Game Master resource. It comes with a lot of more stats for like monsters. It comes with a mini bestiary, all different types of stuff that you can use as a Game Master. But it also comes with lore and scenario
Mostly
books,
lore.
and a scenario in
is
and of
it?
itself.
Well,
And that is
feels like it's mostly lore just because of like there's a lot of it, and then there's like all the monsters have their own stuff. that it talks about. Yeah, it's mostly lore and then a lot of monsters, and then I guess it has a couple of scenarios in here too, it looks like. Yeah, and then yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, basically that.
Makes that book one of the most important, at least to me, after you've gotten through the core rulebooks. This is Deathstroke 9's mark of approval on the Delta Green Handler's Guide. One of the best tabletop role-playing game books I've ever read. I love it so much. It's just so perfect in everything about it. It has a ton of lore on Delta Green, a lot of which would be spoilers if I said it in this video. So I suggest you go check it out. I'll probably do separate videos about different sections of the Agent's Handbook, and then reviewing, the Handler's Handbook and a bunch of other stuff. Let me know in the comments what type of videos you would want in the future.
Okay.
But to continue on this line of thought, the Handler's Guide comes with everything any handler would need, and just with that one resource you can concoct thousands of sessions and scenarios, and it's really fun.
I would argue, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, let me look at something really quick, but I don't know if it explains like stats and such in
like
the
handlers.
In the handler's guide. No, I think in general. It more just gives you all this lore and then the beings, but it doesn't tell you stuff about like agents in the sense of their stats and what they can do.
Was that more in the Agent's Handbook?
Yeah, which is why I think you would honestly probably want that over this. Just because it tells you more information that you actually need to know. Whereas this is, again, supplementary in the lore, in the monsters, and it has, like, specific people that are important, and then the scenario that it has in there. But that, I think, honestly... I don't know why this would be perfect, because you would think that it would explain a lot more of the system than I think it does. Though I could be wrong. It's been a hot minute since I read this. So I'm willing to be wrong.
So now you have read it, yes?
Yes.
How would you rate it compared to like 5e DMG in terms of usefulness?
Okay. What's standard?
Like,
what standard are we using? What standpoint am I at? Am I a new person or am I an experienced person?
Someone who is wanting to run a game.
Again,
and
you
like,
were experienced.
Am I new or am I experienced? Because that's what really.
I wouldn't say. Like, how about you've played the game a few times, but now you want to try running it? So we'll say experienced as a player.
Okay, if I'm experienced as a player,
because basically what I mean is when you're experienced as a player in D&D, you can kind of run the game.
Yeah, that's the same. That's the same way with this.
Okay,
that's the same exact way. There's no need for this technically.
Okay, there we go.
I would say.
Yeah, maybe I probably worded that really
No, I understand now what you mean. Yeah, no, I would say that this is completely unnecessary.
Okay, so it's basically on the same level as a DMG.
Yeah, for somebody who's experienced, I would say so.
Yeah, because the thing is with like the Call of Cthulhu rulebook, the Keeper's Handbook, that's the one that you need. That is the one that tells you everything about everything. It has all the stats for all the monsters. It has all the stats for the investigators, skills, all that. The only thing that the Investigator Handbook does is it gives you more like expanded career choices,
right?
And lore of the world and the time period.
Right.
So that actually is more helpful for players as opposed to giving them a Keeper's Handbook.
Yeah. So I guess my caveat would be
Your caveat.
Yeah, my caveat would be if you know you have trouble with creating monsters or balancing these scenarios, I would say that you would want the handler's guide in order to look at the monsters and look at the template that it has, because it does have creating your own unnatural threats in it.
That's useful.
That is very useful. It is a very useful section. But other than that, because it helps with like, oh, this is how much sanity you would lose if you saw this, right? And like how big it would be, and how much damage it could do, right? Like, and if it could get hurt by certain things.
What damage resistances, etc.
Exactly. So that is useful if you really need that. But if you're cool with just like going by the seat of your pants and kind of figuring it out on your own, then I would think you don't need it at all.
Okay.
This reminds me a lot of there is a YouTube channel I follow named Rubik's Raptor.
Yes.
Who does Arma contests. And one of the things he does is everyone on the Arma team role plays as if they're an SCP operative.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, it's so cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've thought about running this system as if it were SCP, like legitimately. I've thought about scenarios of like finding these like specific SCPs, and then like how would you contain it? Like how would you figure out how to contain it in such a scenario, right? Like,
so if you would run it, if you were thinking of running it like SCP, were you thinking of running it where it's like it's like that, where we're in the labs and trying to get it back under control?
No. You're an MTF probably.
What's an MTF? I don't
Mobile Task Force.
Okay. So we would still be going out in the real world, finding the SCP and trying to. I see.
And
okay.
you would
secure and contain and protect.
Yes, you would be a combination of, if you wanted to be just a scientist man, if you wanted to be a D class, if you wanted to be an actual like agent. Like,
I should probably learn a little bit more about the acronyms of SCP.
I have been fucking throwing my brain into many things, so I know a lot of things now. Yeah.
What are Euclid and Keter class objects?
Euclid are So Keter is like so big in the sense of like it's incredibly hard to contain. They are usually things that, if they can be contained, they have to be extremely specific, or they are something that can't be necessarily contained but have to be monitored. Euclids can be contained but are incredibly dangerous. Also, of course, needing specific stuff in order to contain them, just as everything is, but they can be contained more easily than a Keter, definitely. Think of it like everyone knows 173. 173 is the statue that snaps your neck.
I was thinking
Peanut,
of
if you will.
that one earlier.
That thing.
Yes. 173 is the one who snaps your neck. He is Euclid class because he is incredibly dangerous, because he requires at least 3 people to go into his containment cell in order to make it so that they can clean it. Because at least 3 people have to be staring at him at all times, otherwise...
Technically, you can do it with 2.
Technically, you can, but they don't, because that's stupid.
Fully agree.
Yes. But he is able to be contained because of that. It's a massive concrete and rebar. And shit. A Keter class that I can think of off the top of my head is the Deer God, that requires them to continuously perform a certain ritual in the place that it resides and keep people out of that area in order for it to stay there and not destroy the world. Because it resembles, I believe it's Saturn, the god. Or something like that, and they have to do this specific antiquated ritual because it's the only thing that they know that works to keep it from destroying the world. Have I satisfied you?
You have.
Okay.
Next question.
All right.
What is your favorite SCP?
The bodies in the water.
I'm unfamiliar with that one.
As you should be. You do not recognize the bodies in the water.
Oh.
Look into it. It's a good one.
My favorite is either SCP-049. It's a plague doctor.
Plague doctor. Yep.
Or
Curing the pestilence.
Yeah. And the only cure is death.
Yeah.
And which actually I saw a D&D meme about that the other night. It was I've done a lot of like studies of your human medical sciences, so I'm very good with like as a doctor. And a person was like, "What's the cure for a DM who punishes their players for in real life stuff?" And like they stop and they scowl and they go, "The only cure is death."
Pretty good.
I also am a big fan of SCP-3000.
Yes.
A giant eel that like it makes the mucus.
Yes.
That is the amnestics.
Yes,
that the
they use
Foundation
amnestics for
uses.
it. Yep. And whether or not you take that as canon is really up to you. That's the thing. That's the thing with SCP that I like. That is also kind of frustrating at times. The canon is very malleable. Very malleable.
Because it's like a collective writing project.
Yes, basically.
It is, yeah.
Super cool though.
Hive mind.
Yeah, it's so cool though. I'm not as big a fan of the one that's like, oh, SCPs are all made from horror writers. Like it acknowledges that. Not as big a fan of that, but I understand it. Anyway,
and I am not into SCP lore enough to have an answer to which one is my favorite.
There you go. Anyway.
Over the edge is one of the most fun things that a game master can do, really. Now, here are some things that I personally, Deathstroke 9, found most noteworthy about this game. So, first of all, to get into it, you need to understand that it's not at all like Dungeons and Dragons or some other, you know, more well-known.
I was honestly,
tabletop.
I was really hoping that one of his favorite things were going to be that it's a government agency and we're agents. And that would have been amazing.
He just plays into it even more.
Yeah,
that would be funny.
Anyway, sorry.
No, you're good.
And a lot of times guns and bombs won't do much against certain horrors. Obviously, you can fight cultists and stuff with it, but when it comes to shooting at Cthulhu with a missile launcher, it's not going to do much. Because of that, you need to understand
launcher would probably still hurt him.
That is not.
Yeah, but it would be so inconsequential.
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
Destroying
That's
the unnatural is indeed a goal of Delta Green for your agents. You must be brave and fearless, even as you're going insane. But what becomes a huge stopping point for certain players who don't understand this beforehand is that the game is, you're meant to slowly spiral downward. So make sure that if you or any other player that you play with is getting into this game, that you let them know, hey, this game is very different from Dungeons and Dragons, right?
You're not going to be happy.
Totally different. So out there, so the exact opposite, that you need to be prepared for it. Now, the way the system works, the main way is you've got percentile dice. That is 2 10-sided die, which you roll to generate a number between 1 and 100.
It's incredibly easy to play.
Now, your character that you create has all types of stats and skills. So each different individual skill is basically an ability that your agent has. Abilities like first aid, science, stealth, art, athletics, bureaucracy, accounting, criminology, occult, and many, many, many more.
See, I appreciate the use of images
there. Where you and your handler can work with creating new skills and new abilities that your investigator might have. So your agent will, at any point where they need to make a check, so let's say you're trying to kick down a door, you might need to make a dexterity check. So you look at how much dexterity you have, and then you're going to try to roll against the ending resulting number.
Excuse me,
now,
Mr. Handler, could I use strength?
From most other
No!
percentile-based
Oh.
games, specifically with the attributes, which would be...
But one video has taught us, sub-dex for strength if you want to, but I won't tell you why.
Yeah.
charisma, dexterity, all the main core attributes from which a lot of the skills and the other things are derived, is that the core attributes are lower numbers and you multiply them to get the ending number. And there are reasons for this. There are lots of different reasons. But first of all, so you would take that dexterity, and let's say you have 10 dexterity, and you multiply it by 5.
50.
So now you have 50% dexterity.
Hell yeah.
And that is your chance of kicking down the door.
Pretty
The
cool.
handler says, all right, you have a 50% chance of kicking down that door. That's where the percentile-based dice come in. You roll them together to generate a number between 1 and 100. And if you get under 50, you succeed. If you get over, you fail. There are ways to critically succeed or to critically fumble.
Yeah.
And obviously, a fumble is bad, and a critical success would be good, right? And if you succeed, you complete the task. If you critically succeed, you complete the task with like a little bit extra added on to it. And that is all up to the handler. A lot of things are up to the handler. So another important aspect of this game is trust between the handler and the players. You need to have a
not unique.
bond. There is a level of trust that is needed, more so than in a game like Dungeons & Dragons, where all the stats
more so?
dictate a very large portion of everything that's going on. Everyone's on the same page.
Well, wait, so all the stats that you have on your sheet are a big part of what's going on. What do you mean? That's the same way. What?
Yeah, what?
What? Also,
And
how is it? How do you need a much stronger bond in this than you would in D&D?
Yeah.
It's
Hey,
just
hey,
another
guys.
role-playing game.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey guys, bad news.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna run you guys through my my Call of Cthulhu game because I don't
Trust isn't
trust
strong
you.
enough.
Yeah, you don't trust. Oh, well, you know what? That's fair.
Because I feel like if I were to leave a Coke can on the
Mhm.
table and be like, hey guys, don't drink this,
Right.
I feel like you would probably shoot me.
You know what? That's a perfectly reasonable assumption, and I agree 100% that I would.
Okay.
So
Well,
I'm glad that
And,
we've come to
guess
this.
no Call of Cthulhu for you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
Yeah,
We can't do Call of Cthulhu. Our social link isn't high enough.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I don't have a
Yeah.
strong enough social link between you guys. What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, dude, do you really expect to max out your social link with me after what? Only, God, how long? 10 years? 12
right?
years?
Yeah.
Not enough?
Right, yeah, no, exactly. Come on. I'm the fool. You don't want to max my social link.
Yeah, you really don't, honestly.
Yeah. We were playing Boo's D&D campaign,
Right.
and then we upped our social link so we could play Brogan's Pathfinder campaign.
And then he lost a level with me.
Mm.
He went back to D&D.
Yep, that's what happened. Video talking about handler trust while I will always love you. It's playing, I assume. Nice. It's playing in the background, yeah. Yeah, no, that's such a weird claim because I don't know how you quantify that.
Yeah.
Because quite literally, I think, as Aiden, you were saying, it's just another role-playing game, and the level of trust you need in every single one is the same.
Yeah.
I trust that you are going to run the game well enough for me to have fun,
Yeah.
and that you will also have fun, hopefully.
A prerequisite for every single TTRPG in existence is that when the DM says something that seems a little bit fucky to you,
Yeah.
you go, hey,
Sounds a little fucky.
it sounds a little fucky, and then the DM goes, yeah, I know it does, just in this scenario it happens, and then you give your DM a thumbs up and you say okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not like you're just gonna go, no,
Yeah, no, fuck you.
I don't want you to do that, and then they go, but I I'm the DM.
But I do.
Yeah, and then they go, no, you're not the DM anymore. I am the DM now. And then there's a trust war, and someone sets up a trust fund. And what other
To
things
fund
have
the war.
Yeah, what other things have trust in it? I can't think of anything else. It's okay. Trust fall, right? You're right. Then you do a trust fall. That's true.
Because your trust literally falls.
Anyway, this is such a weird claim.
You set
it's
up
very
a
strange.
trust. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Same page, you're all gonna have a fun time, and you're all technically trying to get scared a little bit, at least. And so, as a noteworthy part of this game,
Debatable.
combat, thank God, is extremely streamlined, goes very quickly. It's not gonna take you two guys hacking back and forth at each other with an axe, doing the same thing, doing like 6 points of damage out of their 100 health back and forth over and over again.
How the fuck
No.
are you
Delta
only
Green?
if you're fighting somebody who has 100 health and you're only doing 6 points of damage every turn? What are you doing?
Or D6 damage, not even 6.
Yeah.
It's hyperbole.
No, I know. I'm just fuck you, man.
You get hit, you're likely dead. Just like in real life, you get shot in the head. I don't think
What
you're
the
making
fuck
out
is
of that
this
alive.
music, man?
It's
And
not
I always
necessary.
appreciate it when games do this
I don't.
realistic.
I don't need you to hit me with a sting in the middle of a YouTube video.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. At least that was better mixing because it didn't overpower his speaking. Because the one he did before
Yeah.
was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Approach to combat, because I personally, and I don't know, the many game masters disagree with this, but I feel like almost every time, except for in like Call of Cthulhu, I use combat, it slows down the pace of the game, and we sit around for almost an hour messing around with fighting a small group of kobolds or something like that. And I don't know, it bothers me. I really dislike combat because of that.
Sure.
And so when games like Call of Cthulhu and now this awesome game Delta Green come along and show me that, look,
Now this awesome
there are
game,
other
Delta
ways
Green,
to
now
go
on sale
about
in Chaos.
combat and people killing each other or trying to hurt each other. So that's one big noteworthy thing about this game is combat is very realistic, and the same goes for sanity. Now,
Okay. So. I want to say that I hope he's played more systems, because a lot of them, like, I feel like a lot of them are pretty streamlined in their combat.
Yeah, or at least as much as you can get.
As much as you
know?
can get with how complex a system can be, right? It really
Yeah.
depends. With D&D, they have like 6 different things you can do during combat if you want, which, yeah, sure, it can bog it down. With something like this or something like Vampire, you just tell me what you want to do and then we roll for it and then that happens, right? Like,
Yeah.
like legitimately you can tell me in Vampire or in Delta Green, I want to run to the tree and then shoot that guy. And I go, okay, make me this roll. And that's it. Like, that's all you have to do, because it's not like that much, because again, you don't have to roll more than just like maybe 3 dice for that kind of thing, because the 2 from your percentile and then the 1 from the damage if you hit. Maybe there's 2 for your damage, so up to 4. It really depends on the weapon, though, at that point. But then it doesn't get that much more complicated, because you can only do, technically, like, 1 thing. Unless your handler, keeper, whoever, storyteller wants to allow you to do more. It really just depends on that. Whereas something like D&D or, like, Pathfinder, they have, like, a lot of things built into that system. Right? And I don't know about...
Excuse me.
I don't know about a lot of other games, I guess, that look more complex, but maybe are, excuse me, a little more simplistic than I imagine. Like I don't know about Traveler. Like, does Traveler have really complex combat? It seems like it's a very complex game.
Now,
Honestly, I've looked into videos about Traveler. It's no more than D&D. It's just a different way to do it.
Gotcha.
How complex the combat is a direct result of how much you trust your handler.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah. No, I would say that. That's
so then it looks
true.
like it does need all the trust.
It needs a lot more. I don't know. Yeah, no, I anyway.
Alejo, snipers are pretty good.
Yeah, snipers are great. Once you learn how to use them, absolutely.
Yeah, I got a scope that's not shit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Anyway, go on.
The other huge selling points of this game is the Sanity Mechanics. Far more dark and disturbing than Call of Cthulhu's are. Every single agent has Sanity Points. Now, Sanity Points represent the resilience of the relationship between your agent's personality and the world. The higher your sanity, the more confidence you have in your place in the world. Okay. And as you go through the game, you lose that confidence as you realize where you truly are and how unstable everything actually is.
Sure.
Whenever your agent takes sanity loss, you should take a second to describe it. And this book, the Delta Green Agent's Handbook, has so much useful information on sanity, disorders,
it does,
and all different types of temporary insanity, insane insight, and then all the different disorders include stuff like addiction, depression, PTSD, sleep disorder, anxiety disorder, conversion disorder, associative identity
actually not
disorder.
So much on addiction and depression and things like that. It doesn't really go super into the aftermath.
No,
that's more left to the players and the keeper's discretion. But I mean, the same can be said of this, where you don't have to do that. It just has it in the book.
Yeah, well, I guess then, if that's the case, then this does have more, technically. Though would I say more in depth? Well, that's more just on a case-by-case basis, right? Like table-by-table basis of who is running it and how far they want to go.
Yeah, exactly.
So many things you have here. Permanent insanity, resisting insanity, delusions, psychopathy.
Yeah, I think you mean
insanity, and then how you
psychopathy.
Sanity points.
There you go.
This book has a lot on the actual mental health aspect of player characters. And that gives me as a handler, or anyone trying to be a handler, a lot of inspiration for how we can, craft good stories or scary stories.
I guess what I will take from this, from his attempts at talking about it and explaining it, looking at the actual section here, it does describe these different things in detail enough that you can understand what it looks like, I guess, more so. I haven't read Call of Cthulhu yet, so I don't know. But I assume there's at least something there.
There's a lot.
Yeah. So
there's an entire full chapter of the book dedicated to nothing but all the facets of insanity.
There you go. Yeah, so this one has I'll just read one here. Intermittent explosive disorder. Your agent suffers from episodes of sudden, uncontrollable fury. Every outburst is out of proportion to whatever real or perceived threat provoked it. The heart races, the body sweats, the head fills with rage, and nothing is safe. Sometimes attacking whatever is in front of your agent is a relief from his or her inner turmoil. In an acute episode, your agent explodes with irrational rage.
That would essentially be... that is essentially in Call of Cthulhu, just under a different wordage.
Right, exactly.
So
but
it is even in the book.
Right.
That's what I mean.
So then I guess this is using just actual terminology and such that's specific, right?
Yes, it seems to be a lot more specific and a lot more medical sounding.
Yeah. yeah, we have like conversion disorder, anxiety disorder, DID, you know, megalomania. Yeah, there's a bunch of this here.
Oh,
No, no. Megalomania. But yeah, no, it has a lot of very in-depth stuff, it seems, for these, which is good. But yeah, I don't know. I would have to look at them side by side, I guess.
Yeah, and it's not really a competition between Call of Cthulhu or Delta Green. They are both pretty much the same thing. It's just a different setting, effectively.
Yeah. I would never say that it was. I was just, it's interesting to have that be a claim that it is more in depth, you know, and I would like to explore that.
There's enough overlap that were to run a Delta Green game, I would take some aspects from Call of Cthulhu. And vice versa.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Easily. And it would work absolutely perfectly.
I watch, obviously, Seth Skrzkowski, and he has done reviews of Delta Green scenarios, and he has gone on record as saying that the rules in, like, the actual gameplay are very, very similar.
Yeah. Having having run it and having listened to, because I've been listening to
actual plays.
Yeah, an actual play of Call of Cthulhu, 7th edition, called The Call. If anybody is interested in hearing a good one, because I've been having a great time with it, listening to it while I work. It's basically 1-to-1. Like, it's super
which
good.
is very nice, because if you want to make a transition between the two, it's like that.
Honestly, you could have it be where you start in one and go to the other, or vice versa.
Absolutely.
And like
your maybe
characters...
you do like a one shot that's in Call of Cthulhu where your player characters or your investigators discover something. Maybe they all die, and then the next session you come in as the Delta Green agents and you're cleaning up.
Yeah, you could totally do that. Yeah. Absolutely, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking of something so horrible. I was thinking of something where they were fucked up so much in the investigation in Call of Cthulhu that they get recruited into Delta Green.
I mean, hey, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they do so well that, like, well, we know these 4 guys who are, like, you know, they know what happened. Yeah. So instead of shooting them, maybe let's get them in.
Right.
You know, they seem to have experience.
We could kill them, or we could offer them $50 to work for us.
Yeah. It's gonna need to be more than that, you shitter.
Well, first off, this is old. Inflation's a thing.
Oh, I know.
Secondly, even if it wasn't, like,
$50
when you're
$50.
When you're offered the choice between get glocked or get $50 and be saved.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, I have one problem with that. Glocks didn't exist yet, so you're gonna need to downgrade that to a Smith & Wesson, maybe.
Sorry, get Chicago typewritered.
There we go. Get typewritten.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna send you a typewritten letter.
Honestly,
you shit.
Honestly, they're striking you out.
Ooh.
I tried for
typing jokes.
I tried for a literary yeah.
And it will give agents a lot of things to work with, and will really help, you know, overall tone of everyone's going insane as the game goes on. Delta Green is about the end of everything, and how long you might live to see it.
Yeah.
So once you've played through whatever, let's say you're trying to get further into the game, you're starting to get into Delta Green, and you've played through the quick start, right? What's next? There are a lot of options. First of all, highly recommend you pick up the Agent's Handbook. It has all the rules that you need to play the game. The Handler's Guide is my favorite of the 2 core rule books,
right?
But technically is not necessary to play the game. However, this would be the first supplement I look at getting. Very, very, very useful book, which includes the game moderator, more rules for the game moderator. It includes a history of the world of Delta Green, from pre-human history to present day, with campaign tips and scenario seeds on every page, horrifying rituals, unnatural entities, and reality-shattering great old ones. Rules for creating new threats to shock and terrify your agents. The secretive Delta Green organization in deep and disturbing detail. And some spoiler-heavy stuff about Delta Green. guidelines for creating original scenarios and campaigns using the resources found within the book, and Operation Fulminate the Sentinels of Twilight, a sample scenario ready for you to play. Past that, you have all types of stuff to dig into. First of all, there is the Need to Know and Handlers screen, which includes the Quick Start rulebook as printed out, and has some ready-to-play agents, so pre-generated characters, and a starter adventure. Along with all that, it comes with a full-color game moderator screen, which features useful tools for the handler and unsettling art for the players. Past that, there are a bunch of different short stories and pre-made scenarios that you can pick up. All of these things are going to be in links in the description, and you can go explore Delta Green or Arc DreamWorks' home main website for Delta Green to find all these different things, such as Control Group, Night at the Opera, The Last Equation, and other, scenario compilations or single scenarios or campaigns for Delta Green. So, what is the final verdict? How do you get into Delta Green? You need to understand it's a horror game.
Yeah. Oh, hey, he did do it.
It's a game of Lovecraftian horror. It has to do with conspiracy and the government. The players take on the role of agents. And you basically, I would recommend, I got the slipcase set. I would recommend picking it up yourself. You get these two books, the Agent's Handbook and the Handler's Guide. Those are the two main ways to start playing. But before you do that, you might want to check out the Quick Start Guide to maybe get a feel for the game first. Now, my agents, I hope this has been of some use to you. If you are interested in Delta Green and have any questions at all about the system, let me know in the comments of this video.
There's more to this?
As well as like this video. And if you are new here, subscribe to Deathstroke 9.
Okay.
And before we end, we have a couple more final things to go over about what makes this game so unique.
Really?
But first, a word from our sponsor.
You don't have sponsors.
Okay, guys, you got a sponsor. That's neat. Okay, cool.
Okay.
I just want to see what his final words are. Tell me.
It's about truths. And the ultimate truth is that we are small. And out there, somewhere beyond the stars, out in the universe, there are things that are writhing and waiting for their chance to take revenge or to destroy or root out humanity. And it's only a matter of time before this happens.
Could have been banished.
And all we can do to stop it is to fight against it. But for every one threat we take out, two new spring up.
I apologize.
That's probably more than two.
In your life, your family,
flashing?
Your country, your planet, your solar system, everything is slowly falling to pieces, and there's nothing you can do about it. Delta Green has a temporary answer. But they're never going to tell their agents that. And that's another thing that makes this game so well created, so well crafted, is your characters do have purpose, or at least they feel they do. And that's something that sets this game apart from, say, Call of Cthulhu, where every single investigator in Call of Cthulhu is a normal, mundane person.
Yeah, you're not like
who is kind of a victim.
You stopped being creepy, quote unquote.
It's kind of, you're reacting to what's going on. In Delta Green, you go searching for it. And you have personal reasons as to why you're trying to root it out, and you have hope that you can stop it.
You have that in Call of Cthulhu as well.
There is no true hope. There is only temporary victories.
How much hope your character has is determined by you in character creation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, in any system.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it wouldn't really work as well, but you could very easily do a story like this in D&D.
Well, they had fucking Taint in 3.5, where if you kept seeing shit, you got this stuff called Taint that fucking made you go crazy. Like, it was legitimately another kind of mechanic that way. You know, you can get the what?
No, I said, oh, that's neat.
Yeah. Like it was called in Heroes of Horror, the 3.5 supplement. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I used it a little bit. It's pretty cool.
We played Ravenloft, yeah.
Yep, I used it a little bit. I wish I had used it better, but I didn't, and I regret that. But it is a mechanic there that you can use, and like other people have probably made similar mechanics for 5e in other things. I know Matt Mercer literally updated the taint mechanic for 5e as a free thing on DriveThruRPG or something. One of those sites.
That's cool.
Yeah, like he literally did that as a thing. So you could do that if you wanted to. And then there's the supplement that Brogan was talking about that one time. Fuck, what was it? It was another like horror kind of thing with like
is it the Call of Cthulhu one for 5?
yeah, for
5e?
5e, I think.
Yeah,
it was.
it's just I don't remember what it's called. I think it's just called Sandy Peterson's Cthulhu Mythos for 2e.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's it. You're right. But yeah. Another interesting part about being government agents, I have heard it mentioned before that in the mythos, humanity's best chances to survive is to avoid being noticed by the ancient horrors. So what if high-tech government involvement starts to get us noticed? Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
you can then
absolutely.
have an internal struggle about that issue. Oh, yeah. I would love that, of like seeing them now realizing that they are doing more harm than good just from existing.
Yeah.
It sounds like a cool system, but I couldn't run it. Some of my group are already out there. Well, you know.
In
the stars. Yeah. They've left. They've left the planet. Yeah. It's unfortunate.
I see.
Yeah,
Man, you have players that are astronauts? That's fucking sweet.
they don't trust the DM enough.
Yeah, they don't trust. Yep.
Yeah.
So they left the planet.
Well, whose
They didn't
fault
want to
is
live on the
that?
planet anymore.
Let them savor their hope. Sooner or later, their
forgot that
sanity
the
will
effect
break
was still
down
going.
beyond the breaking
Yep.
point. Now,
Hey, it stopped.
thank you
Okay.
very much for
And now it's not
watching.
black and white
Hope
anymore.
this has assisted you in learning how to get
Okay, that's the end. Okay. My favorite thing about being a secret government agent is redacted. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, okay. So that's a little bit about Delta Green.
What the fuck?
I hope you realize that it is somewhat of a very slightly scurry game, only tiny bit. Only a
In
little.
that you play as government agents.
Yep. I mean, to be fair, you will remember that now.
Yeah.
It is a horror
Hopefully.
game, and you play as an agency that is called Delta Green.
Dude, Alejo.
Yeah.
There's a game on Steam that's a city builder where you play as beavers.
Oh yeah. I saw
That
that
sounds awesome.
And
Oh my God.
Timberborn. That's
That
hilarious.
sounds great. That's
Anyway,
super
go
cool.
on, sorry.
No, you're good. Alrighty, gotta go. Good night, guys. This was awesome. I really want to get into Delta Green now. If you guys play it, record it. Oh yeah, no worries, dude.
All right.
It'll happen.
I won't be running it. It'll be this fuck.
It'll be me. Hello.
Yep.
What was the 5e taint system you said that was on DriveThruRPG? I think it was updated Heroes of Horror or something like that. Let me see if I can find it. But yeah, Night Steely. Updated hero, or not Heroes of Horror, but maybe it is. I gotta find it. 5e. Yeah, wait. Is that it? No. Yes. No. No. I don't remember what it's called now. Let's try Taint 5e Matt Mercer. Yep. That comes up. Free corruption rules supplement. There you go.
Corruption.
Yes. Here, I'll show it on screen right now. Corruption rules from Matthew Mercer. It's a free PDF. And he literally says that he condensed some of the rules from Heroes of Horror taint rules. So
There you
yeah, check that out. See if it works. I don't know. I never used it. But yeah, so that is that. Okay video.
Yes. Okay.
Okay video. Nothing.
Had some faults.
Yeah.
The dialogue straight up reminded me of a high school paper.
Yes.
Which is, I guess, all right considering the presumed age of the
Dude, I don't know.
creator.
No idea.
Yeah.
At least I can tell that he's passionate.
Yes.
The boy likes his TTRPGs,
Yeah.
and for that I say yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, for a moment here, let us do our shout-outs and our shilling, because you've gone for a little while, and it's time.
Give money, shilling done.
There it is. Thank you to our patrons, of course. You guys give us donations of money, and we appreciate it, and it will go towards future productions and such, and it's on Patreon, and you can find it in the description and all that shit. That being said, these are our patrons. Draco Kraken at tier 3, Mog Zero at tier 3, who's also been in the chat. Thank you to both of you. Slazer, also been in the chat at tier 3. Thank you. Steely just left. God damn it. I didn't get to thank you before you left. Thank you, in Vodland. Drake Cross, also up here at tier 2. Thank you so much. Chris at tier 1 with that $5. Thank you so much. Frozen Spaghetti as well. Thank you. And Kill Chrono at the end here. Thank you. I'm thinking about putting in, for those who may want to, like, because as we've said, the money doesn't matter. Like, that's not the importance of this. I'm thinking about putting in a $1 tier just for people to just, have access to this shit, right? And be just able to do that. That way, everyone gets to be bumped up a tier. Haha, hilarious. But also, it just makes it so that, if you do want to support us even a little bit, you can just throw $1 and, like, it'll add up if you if you want to do that every month. But again,
and then for people who can't do that, we will eventually install a penny tier.
Right. But yes, again, it's not an obligation. It's just gonna be there as an option. I figured that's something that some people might have wanted. I don't know. But it's something that makes it more accessible. And also, once we can actually, give more Patreon exclusive content out there for you all, if I have the time to fucking put things up earlier, then hey, you have access to it for a fucking $1, Would you buy that for $1? I'd buy that for $1. Anyway,
I'm not gonna dignify that with
that's
anything,
fine. It was a
literally
bad
anything.
RoboCop reference, I know.
You tried. You
I did.
certainly tried.
I did do
Yes.
that.
Good movie.
I like that. Good. I've got some 1983 halfpennies if y'all are interested. Yo, that's sick. But of course, as well, you can go on TeePublic and get a shirt or something with the logo on it. And at some point we'll have other things. But yeah, TeePublic for that. And I'm still working on dice bags and shit. It'll come. Don't worry. I just,
and as soon as it comes is the day I buy one and I graduate from my Crown Royal bag, which, to be honest, is getting kind of full.
Yeah,
because I'm a dice gremlin, so I may just get like a second bag and work on filling that.
there you go. That's fair. The $1 tier can be the popsicle stick table flipper tier. Nice. It's the Lincoln Log tier, dude.
Nice. I love it. Dude,
That's
fucking
great.
Lincoln Logs with the shit.
Dude, Lincoln Logs are sick still. Okay.
No, I said that they. Oh, right. No, I said that they were
yeah,
the shit.
that's right.
Yeah, I should say
Bastard.
the shit. Because, like, man, when you build shit with Legos, God,
it's cool.
Sometimes it's so fucking hard to get some of them to come apart.
To come apart.
Like the tiny ones.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, there's the classic, you don't want to step on a Lego because you'll die.
It hurts.
But if you step on a Lincoln Log, man,
Yeah,
Nothing.
you'll just slip and die. It's fine.
Yeah, you'll just slip because they're fucking rounded.
Yeah, that's true. Excuse me. Okay, so I was thinking, if you guys are down for it, we could do a character creation in Delta Green.
Delta Green?
Yeah.
Well, since I did one for Vampire, I think you should do this, Aiden.
Well, I mean, I was thinking we could just do a follow along kind of thing, and I would make one too.
I'm also playing Destiny right now.
God damn it.
Yeah.
This fucking guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually finished playing The Division. I'm good.
Oh my god, wow.
I'm able to do
Look
it.
at you. Okay. Well, that's fine. So, what we will
Why
do...
don't you just do it?
I'm going to.
Okay.
Fuck, and
I
I'm
don't
gonna
have the
explain it.
sheet.
Why don't we,
it's in
why
the...
don't we
I was gonna say it's in the fucking chat there. I
why don't
literally
we
sent it to you
turn over
guys.
to our audience?
What?
Why don't we, like, you guys make characters?
Well,
And
yeah.
we'll review them, I promise.
What? You guys can make characters too. I just wanted to show off how you do it.
Yeah.
Fuck. Because there's just more things about it that might get you interested. Because character creation is a big part of, a TTRPG. And if you like the character creation, you might just, like, get into it,
Yeah.
So, these guys fucking trying to undermine me every fucking day.
Yep, every time.
Every fucking time I try to do something. So...
Try to do something nice.
I try to make some content, and then these guys come over here, and they're like, "Fuck you!
Why?
Why would you do that?" And I'm like,
Nobody
we
likes
host a-
content.
We
We've
host a
learned this.
fucking show about TTRPGs on the fucking channel. Okay.
Is anyone even watching? God.
No, of course not.
So, let me pull this up on the screen, and you guys can see, the lovely PDF, fillable PDF that I have found that you can also find very easily if you search for it. So
Wait a
have fun.
minute.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Okay.
Do we have to roll dice?
Yes.
Who the fuck wants to do that?
You know what? You know what?
Right?
Fair.
God. Who the fuck wants to roll dice?
What a horrible existence we must live.
Yeah. I don't want to have to roll dice. You want to play tabletop role-playing games? Yeah. But you have to roll dice. Fuck that.
No, I don't want to.
I'm really thirsty. Yeah, there's some water downstairs. I'm alright.
I don't like it. That sucks.
The equivalent of no take, only throw.
Yeah. True. All right. There it is. Okay. And now I resize this. Don't worry, I'm doing stuff in the background, everybody. Don't worry. Yeah. As I do all the time for this fucking show.
Yeah.
Okay. So hopefully this looks okay. Well, let me just resize it a little bit more. But you can see my PDF right here of the...
Put that away.
Oh, fuck. I'm sorry. So this is the character sheet. You can... I fucking hate you so much. Why did I invite you to do this? Anyway, so... No need to roll dice anymore. Hey, Google. Ooh,
Oh,
you're right. Okay, so we'll start with stats and stuff because coming up with a name and shit, man, my brain. So step 1 in agent creation is determining statistics. You have strength, dex, constitution, intelligence, power, and charisma.
Yes.
They range
not
from...
appearance. Oh.
No. They range from 3 to 18.
Okay.
And you roll 4d6, drop the lowest, or you can do point buy.
Yes.
But rolling dice is fun. So
Yes. Point buy is so boring.
well, I'm okay with it on occasion, but
No, it's fine. I'm
feels-
just saying it's boring.
it feels more like I'm playing a video game when I do point buy.
Yeah.
And I don't want to play a video game. I want to play a TTRPG. So
Because the Sunken City, unfortunately, was bad.
Yeah.
Damn it. And so was the Call of Cthulhu game. It wasn't
Yeah.
bad. It was just meh.
it was just meh. Yeah, I still need
Yeah.
to play it. I actually bought it the other, like when it was on sale for like $7.
Nice. Ooh,
So
nice.
yeah.
For $7, it'll be fucking great then.
Right. Okay. So I will take my dice. Should I? You know what? I'll set up a dice cam as well. Guess what, everybody? You're getting
Oh my
treated to
dice.
this. Yeah, you can see what I roll. Crazy that. Let
Are
me get
you-
my-
Yeah.
Shut up. Fuck you.
This,
Yeah, I can
trying
just
to-
hear the enthusiasm in
Fuck
Aiden's
you.
voice.
we'll know that Alejo did not cheat when making this character he'll never use.
Wah! What if I find cool
Alejo.
friends who actually want to run this for me? Okay.
Oh, Alejo.
Yeah.
Name him Bob Agent.
I'm not gonna name him Bob Agent.
Why not?
I like how Miscellaneous says the name shall be Ben and Cider.
God damn it.
Okay. Hold on.
No. You know who you should name it? You should name
name-
it Mark Zuckerberg because he's a fucking lizard and we all know it.
That's
His-
true.
His name should be Ben Dover.
That's true. You know what? That's a better name.
Or
right.
Phil Acio.
Also a good one. Also a good one. Okay, hang on. I'm like moving shit so I can actually put this camera in a way that I can actually see shit. And then I have to get lighting and Well, the things I do for you people, okay?
Yeah, dude. I feel the same fucking way when I have to take pictures of my miniatures. I'm like, fuck, I can't get this lighting to be good. It's like, God, these all look like so shit. Because lighting is hard.
Yeah, I have like several things for lighting because, you know, I do my streams and shit. So
Yeah.
and
And I don't stream, so I don't have
Yeah.
lighting.
exactly.
For my favorite part of this whole thing
Yeah.
is I get to just like sit here in the corner and be a grumpy old man who's a shitter
Yeah, fuck
and
you.
be like, you're doing content?
Yeah,
Why?
fuck you.
I know, that's what I said.
Fuck you guys. I'm the one putting in effort.
Yeah.
And you
I'm
guys are here
listening.
to, you know, look pretty. Basically. Fuck you.
Well, that's why you had us on the show, was you needed someone that looked pretty.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, let me add in my fucking.
So then should I just appear in the live version of the podcast as one of my Tyranid miniatures?
Okay, here we go.
Dude,
I don't look that good.
If you have a spare gene stealer, draw it with like makeup or something.
I don't have a spare one, but I was thinking of getting more eventually because I only have 16 and that's pissing me off because they come in units of 20.
That's true.
Mm.
I'd be
They
so
do
mad.
that. Wait, why is this not?
You need one with like horrendously drawn on makeup and be like, "Am I pretty?
Am I a pretty boy?
Like what you see, boys?" No, as a matter of fact, I don't.
Oh, good God, no.
So you're
No.
the first one who's gonna die.
1,000 times no.
I know that I was looking at like Tyranid miniatures just to see like how people pose them occasionally.
Yeah.
And I know that someone did an army of Tyranids where they all have googly eyes.
That's amazing.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's really good.
Okay.
Actually, wait a minute. Let me see if I can find that. I'll just post it in Discord. Jesus.
Yeah, do it. For some reason my camera isn't turning on, so that's pretty cool. Nice.
Yeah, there they are.
Doing what I can.
Oh, that's that's really good. Here, look.
Break my fucking camera? What the hell is going on?
Here, I'll put it in TableTalk, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll look
Look
at
at
it in a second. Those are great. Nice.
The biovores and the spore mines. I love it. The spore mines have them too.
Nice. You should put that in the Discord, yeah.
Okay.
I'm still trying to figure this out, and I apologize, everyone. This is taking a lot longer than usual. Don't worry. This is our regularly scheduled technical difficulties section of the podcast, where everything go wrong.
Yes.
As it always do.
We planned this ahead of time.
Yes, it's in the script, honestly.
Yeah, it going wrong is intentional.
Yep, that's the one.
Thus, we are big-brained.
Mhm.
Googly-eyed Lictor. His eyes are just his whole head. I feel sorry for that Lictor.
It's so good. That's adorable.
Oh my god. Oh no. Oh, I hate this. It's an ooh-woo card effect.
Gotcha.
Oh.
Okay, I finally got the camera going, boys. We can
The
stop.
The only thing that can strike fear in the heart of a space marine.
It's an ooh-woo.
True. Okay.
Avenge me, brother!
Brother!
Avenge me!
All right. Okay. So,
Jesus Christ.
let's do this. So, let me bring up my thing again so I can look at the rules again. Okay. So, let's do some stats. So we got to do it for each stat. And we can do them in whatever order, it doesn't matter. So fuck it. I'm just gonna start rolling them, and then I'm gonna put the.
Now, do you do it in whatever order you want? Because
it doesn't say that you need to do it in a specific order.
okay,
It
because
says place,
I know
place
that
the 6 rolls in whichever stats you like.
got it. Because in Call of Cthulhu, there actually are different rolls that you make for different stats, so that some have like a baseline, like
Gotcha.
intelligence and size.
Okay, gotcha.
At least
let me
typically.
move all of these dice out of here so that we don't confuse things. Okay. Seems your pool table is slightly misshapen. Hey man, I bought this dice tray like so long ago. It's really good.
Nice.
Anyway, it looks like a pool table. Okay, here we go. That is 10. Sick.
Okay.
All right, that's my first. And then 13. Hey. Pretty good. And then 14. Hey, getting better. And then 12. Okay.
Nice.
I haven't gotten something really bad yet.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Well, now that you said it.
Yep. Ready for it. That is
9.
no. That is a 13.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say 3.
Yeah, it's a 3. I got all the ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So one more. All right. Oh, this one's not as great. That is fucking 8. Sick. Okay, so I do have one that's not so good.
I apologize. I think I'm gonna actually bow out here because I'm actually starting to kind of feel off.
Sure.
Yeah. Sorry.
No worries,
I'm starting
no
to get like a
worries.
headache and starting to feel a little bit lightheaded. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and go. So
Okay.
you guys have a nice night. I'm gonna do something and then probably sleep.
Sounds good.
So sorry, I'm not gonna be I can say this now during the podcast so that people are listening and the VOD gang can hear it.
Oh.
I am not gonna be here for the next podcast, and we are not going to be having a session of anything next Thursday, as I will be out of town. I will be out of state.
Yes.
So yeah,
This is true.
So yeah, next time it's just going to be you two fucks. So Aiden, you better pick up the slack.
Hell, it might be just me. Who knows?
Yeah, it might just be him.
Yeah, might just be.
Yeah. It might just be.
Well, in that case, we'll see what happens. But yeah.
Yeah. So I will be gone. So no me. So yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm out.
All right.
Take it easy.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye now.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
God, is he still here? God.
Yes, I am, you shitter.
There he goes. Okay. So
All right, now that we've dropped the dead weight.
the one who hasn't even gotten to be able to do the thing with me says. So next step of making the character is
the one who's just here for personality.
right, exactly. Doesn't want to do any of this hard work of rolling dice. Let's make it so this person is not great with their constitution. That's fun.
Ooh, I'll always make the healthier dump stat.
Yeah, why not? And strength will only be a 10. And then...
Frankly, does health being a dump stat matter in Call of Cthulhu?
No, not really. Well, I mean, you could shrug off a bullet if it grazes you, you know. From your crazy cultist who might shoot at you with a shotgun.
Or you could intimidate them with a double barrel.
Or you could, yes, absolutely you could. Okay. So, strength 10, constitution 8, dexterity 12, intelligence 13, power 14, and charisma 13. That is my character's stats. And then, now that it's just the boys, we can play a cool board game like Monopoly. That's true! So, you also have the ×5 things, so obviously my strength ×5 is 50, my constitution, excuse me, ×5, excuse me, goodness, again, is 40, and then dex is 60, wait, is my brain small? Hold on, is my actual real-life human brain small?
Maybe.
No, it's not. Sick. Okay.
We're still waiting on results.
That's true. Yeah, it could have fooled me. Intelligence becomes 65. Power becomes 70. And charisma becomes 65. Okay, cool. So, that is that. And then, hit points are derived by... let's see. I need to go to page... Okay, I need to go here, I guess. Here we go. So HP is con plus strength divided by 2 and rounded up. So my HP is 9. Yay.
How much does an average gun deal? 10.
Right? Yeah, like, woo. Willpower becomes power. So 14. Very good. Sanity points. Power times 5. Okay, so I have 70 sanity. That's pretty, that's not bad. And my breaking point is sanity minus power. So my breaking point becomes 56. Very cool. So, the instant the agent's sanity reaches the breaking point, he or she gains a disorder. Reset the breaking point to equal the new sanity score minus power. There you go. You just continuously break. That makes sense. Now I select a profession and skills. So I could be pretty fucking cool, or I could be an absolute nerd. So there's a lot of professions in Delta Green that they have, at least in this book. That being like an anthropologist or a historian. You've got your federal agents. You've got computer scientists. You've got, physicians, special operators. You got fucking sciencemen. You got firefighters, foreign service officers. There's a lot of them to choose from. And obviously you can make up more. Because why the fuck not, Whatever the agency would want to recruit is something that you could realistically take. But for this, I feel like I'm going to go with something that is already given because I have no creativity. and
it's late.
And it's late. It is getting to be about midnight. But I want to do this beforehand. So, we'll go for a scientist. That sounds about right, since my intelligence is 13 and I'm a small, weak science man. So, for scientist, I get a bunch of professional skills. So, we go down here to all of these skills on the skill page, of which I have, excuse me, bureaucracy at 40%. I have computer science at 40%. I get to choose a science at 60%. Uh-oh. What am I specialized in for science?
Chemistry.
Okay. Chemistry.
All right, I've contributed my portion to the making a character.
Fuck. He's right. I get another science.
Biology.
Okay. Biology. This one is at 50%. I get another science.
Physics.
Physics. Physics. This is at 50%. Holy shit. I'm knowledgeable. Okay. And then I can choose 3 from accounting, craft, foreign language, forensics, law, and pharmacy. Well, I obviously...
Accounting, forensics, law.
Okay. Accounting becomes 50%. Forensics becomes 40%. Law becomes 40%. Okay. And then I have, it seems, I have 4 bonds as well. Okay. Let me go down to... Oh, and it's interesting, on this actual sheet, you do have a section that says developments which affect home and family. Like, there's a section for you to record how what you've been doing has fucked up your home life. It's great.
So the whole reason why you've got a ton of really weird and randomized collective knowledge was, you were a biochemist.
Okay.
But you also had like an ex-girlfriend in law.
Okay.
And it was a nasty breakup.
Ah, I see. That makes sense. All right. Well, I'm sad now. So, let's define these bonds. So, bonds are your, each bond has a value that starts equal to your agent's charisma. Oh, okay. So each of them are at 13 to start with. So, these are the things that help me resist my mental trauma. So my first bond, is, let's see. Let's go with
your first ex was an abusive bitch.
Okay. My first ex is my first bond.
And the way you get over it, like trauma, is you go, oh, this is nothing compared to what my ex did to me.
Okay. My second bond then becomes my favorite professor.
You had a pretty cool math teacher once.
Okay. Math.
He told lots of funny stories about his ex-wife.
Why there's so many things about ex-wives? What the fuck?
He was sort of a hero to you, and you have unknowingly picked up his habits of forming exes.
I see. My third bond is how about my elderly mother? I'm waiting for it. Yep.
Okay.
This is a challenge for you.
So wait, is this just a fact about your elderly mother?
This is just, I just have my elderly mother as a bond. You can make up whatever you want about them.
Okay. She loved cats. I don't fucking know.
Cool. And then my last bond will be, shit. Let's go with, God. Who would be important to this science man's life? Barbara, the coffee shop owner of my local coffee shop.
Makes a mean cup of joe.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
You you are personally still slightly grateful to her for the fact that you got through grad school.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. And now it's just fine details of just how old are they and all that shit. Easy, and name and shit. Okay. So, we'll start with, this is a dude. A man, if you will. And they are, let's say that this lad is 43 years old. He was born in let's say he was born what?
I'm just now imagining this character like creating just like I don't know, like a D&D character or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But like the campaign has you dealing with like horrible shit mentally.
Yeah.
And just your excuse is always, I have an ex who did that or worse for whatever the situation is. And it's always nebulous. So someone's like, how many exes do you have? And he's like, 8. Next week, if someone asks that same question, he'll be like, 5. Next week, if someone asks that question, he'll be like 13.
Mm-hmm.
It's always open-ended.
We'll say he was born in the year of our Lord 43 from now. So my brain needs to do math.
64.
From now?
From now. 43 from now. 64. 2064.
No.
Are you saying he's 43?
43. He's 43 now. I mean, from now to when he was born. Sorry.
81.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, wait, that's not right.
Oh, 81. Jesus,
wait.
no. 77.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
That would be 44. Whatever the fuck.
76. No, it is 77. No, you're right. Because that's 21. That's 2021. He was born in 77. Fuck it. However old that makes him, he's 43. His education, he went to Arizona State.
Because aliens?
Sure. It's just where he went. He's employed by he's a chemistry, biology, and what was the last one? Physics man.
Yeah, and law for some. Well,
right.
The laws.
He knows law.
Yeah.
So he is employed at fuck. I don't know where people are employed. Uh-oh. No, you know what? He's employed by Arizona State. He got a dead-end job there. He wouldn't call it that. He loves this place.
He thinks he's got prospects.
Right, exactly. He's got tenure. He's never had tenure. His nationality is, let's just say American, because I don't care. Okay, now, what is his name? Ooh.
Dude, I told you, bend over.
No, I'm not doing that. No, his name is...
It can be an American-sounding name. He's American.
That is true, but I'm not gonna go with it. Thank you. Let's go with his last name is Johnson, of course. No, this man's name is Richard Richardson. Because I know a person who has that name, and I was surprised. Yep. And profession is science man. Teacher. In parentheses. Okay. And that's...
Do me a favor and put the teacher in quotes.
Okay. Right. Yes. Better idea. Parentheses, quotes, lowercase teacher.
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 Technically.
He's in the classroom. And then I can give him a physical description and stuff later, give him motivations and such. But yeah, that's a Delta Green character already set. He's good. He's fine. He's here. I'm pretty sure that's it. Let's look.
Oh, good is a bit generous. He
Well,
exists.
He's a man who exists, yes. And it's really that simple, honestly. You can fill in all the rest of the stuff very easily. And that's about it, man. You must have deep malice against Richard to subject him to this game. No, Richard's cool. I just couldn't think of a name. So I gave it to him. Because it's I don't know, I like it. Anyway, yeah, so that's that. Yeah, if you want to go and look into Delta Green, it's a really simple way to make a character. Easily done. In fact, you even have these sections of distinguishing features for your stats. So, like, how are you so willpower-y? How is that distinguished? How are you so charismatic? You know, how are you so strong? How do you have such a weak constitution? You know? All that kind of stuff. And then general physical description, and then obviously you'll get these kinds of things later. Of like, well, you could even give them a mental disorder from the beginning if you wanted to. But yeah, and motivations and such, and then armor and gear and such. I feel like these are things that will be a later thing of like, hey, handler, can I have this? And then they go, no. And you go, okay. And just as in Call of Cthulhu, if you use a skill, you get a tick to it, and then you can try to upgrade it at the end of the session, or something. Either that, or when you are taking a rest or something. It's been a hot minute. I don't know, but you do get to progress these. So, that's that. I hope that was at least somewhat interesting, and all of that. And I hope that overall we've inspired at least one person, which I know at least one person has been inspired, to look into Delta Green. It's a cool game. I'm hoping to do it sometime for these idiots when one day. But we'll see if that ever does come to fruition. And it will be not necessarily Cthulhu-ish. It will be more folklore, cryptid, all that kind of stuff taking place. Because I know a lot about that kind of stuff, and I feel like it would be fun to have that be the element that they have to look into and potentially cover up.
Should make it SCPs and have just throw Boo into the campaign and give him no context.
Right. Well, that's
Be
the
like,
thing. I can do that with
class personnel.
right. I can do that with some cryptids as well, actually, because there's some that I doubt either of you would know of. Honestly, there's so many. Like, do you know the California Dark Watchers?
Nope.
Okay. Exactly. So,
I know Wendigos and I know Mothman.
okay. There you go. Yeah. So, that's my plan at least. So, when we do it, it might be something like that, or I could do the SCP thing. Honestly, like, I'm down to do whatever with this system. It's really cool. Melonhead Children, yep, that's also one. But yeah, so that'll do it for us for tonight. Thanks for hanging out. after the main bit of the show to look at this. It was an experiment in a way to see if people wanted to view this kind of stuff and see that little bit. But,
And do they?
yeah, we got a couple. Yeah. They've been here looking. And probably in the VOD we'll have a couple of people. But
Yeah.
I would
Hello,
love to
Vlog
know.
Watchers.
Yeah, hello VOD squad. Let me know about your ideas for Delta Green. What kind of characters would you make, and what kind of scenarios do you think you would run? Because, like, man, it's so open to possibilities, and I can imagine a bunch of people, you know, doing the things where they're like, oh, look at this agency. Guess what? Uh-oh, you being an agent, pretty bad, actually. You know? Things like that. Running games with traditional folklore is always cool. Freak out players of the Australian vampire or German kobolds. Yeah. Yeah. Doing shit like that. Like, even doing stuff with, like, the Fae. Oh, that'd be cool, too. But yeah. So that'll do it for us for tonight. Again, would love to thank our lovely, lovely patrons. That being Draco Kraken, Mug Zero, Slazer, Steely, Drake Cross, Chris, Frozen Spaghetti, and Kill Chrono. Other than that, you can find the podcast live on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then again, as a VOD on Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, usually on your podcasting service of choice, at around noon. Though, last episode, I do need to get up sooner rather than later because I haven't had time. Haha, good stuff. Being busy sucks. But other than that, there will be more Devils and Dice when we do it, and Boo already talked about the next week. One other thing for those of you who are here and those of you who watch the VOD in the future. Hey, next week I actually have a little bit that I'm going to introduce about a system that I have been playtesting for somebody who's making their own custom system. And I'm gonna give you guys copies of the playtest material that I have so far, and feel free to, of course, criticize it as much as possible, because the dude who's been doing it is like, hey, if it's shit, tell me, because I need to know that. And it's called Curse. But we'll get into that next week a little bit, and then continue with some other stuff. So, look out for that. And yeah, that's about it. We'll see you next week.
Well, bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Get out of here.
Leave.